and I'm gonna hit go live at 6 on that. If you can hear us on YouTube, congratulations, you are now
Lucky
with us behind
winner.
the scenes. Everybody's phones on mute, on silent, vibrate, whatever. It is a
Go
reminder
ahead.
for myself as well as everybody else. Okay, I got the email that we're live. That's
Okay,
cool.
okay.
Changing that to 2 hours. That's cool. And then once we are live, like on IG, we'll bring our video up and then just still, go live for a couple of minutes, and then get started.
That
Oh,
sounds
that's pretty
good
cool. I
to
didn't see
me.
that. All right, so let me get out of this window.
There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and
Okay.
get that loop
Mic
prepared to
check.
go down in a few moments.
Hold on, I can't actually hear you. I still need to tie my do-rag so I don't have my headphones on. I can kind of hear you, but it's pretty low because my headphones are next to me, not on me. Just as a heads up, let me make sure Discord is up.
Oh
It is not
goodness.
up. Reconnect. Kimmy, if you can hear me, if you can let me know that you got my last message via Discord, por favor. That would
I
be
know,
great.
I know you can't hear me well, but anybody's joining us in the studio will
Oh, I can
probably.
hear you a little bit. What is that?
Oh, I was just about to say. Sometimes my neurospicy brain gets on my head, on my nerves, because you just said your do rag, and for some reason it went way back 2 years ago. That Soldier Girl video on the train, and with my do rag at thing, and I was like, Lord, why did you do that, brain?
Oh. Oh my good. I got my wife. Oh wow. You know what? I just realized. Oh yes, I am. I was about to say. I just realized I'm not hardwired in. I want to rearrange my space a little bit. Keep track of the time. When it hits 1800, you can hit. You can bring us up. You can take down the coming soon thing.
Oh yeah, we're almost there. I'm tracking.
I'm decent, so that's all that matters.
There we go. I'm about to remove it now.
Sounds good.
Oh, look at there. Look at us. Now, let's get up and get ready. I just polished off my coffee.
If you're talking to me right now, Ray, I can't hear you. Hold on one second. I'm making a lot of noise over here. If you're not talking to me, I mean, by all means, keep going.
Nope. Just polished off my coffee, got all that together. Of course, that means it's going to make me maybe a
Oh,
little bit later, a little sleepy, but I
okay.
probably should have went for the tea instead of the coffee.
That goes there.
It's
Oh
all good.
shit.
I actually needed it.
Ray, I want to ask your opinion. I'm not by any means assuming that you know makeup or into makeup, but I
Actually,
have a
I've done
question.
drag. I love
Oh
makeup.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just remember asking another friend about this. I was asking him about like my I was trying to shade match. This is before we started Black and Sick, and I was trying to shade match. And
Hmm.
this is my friend. He's a gay guy, and he was like, "I'm not that type of gay. I don't know that." And I was like, "Calm down. I wasn't asking you for anything that has anything to do with being gay. I just wanted you to tell me because I had how I told you that I'm like, I think I'm darker than I am in my mind. So it was really hard for me to shade match." And I just wanted his opinion. Like I was showing him two pictures, and he was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Calm down." Which I mean, I do get it. If you're used to like people
Yeah.
make an assumption because you're gay that like you must know everything about fashion and everything about this and no, no, no. Plus, he and I have different taste anyway, so I wouldn't have asked him that.
This is when I say this to anybody that's paying attention right now, definitely an insider thing. But with you saying, anytime you mention the shade, I will forever love that picture you sent me when
What picture? What did I send?
that time we were talking about complexion and you sent me a picture. that
Oh, when I colored in my
picture.
face?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Cause
one of
like,
the
cause, cause
funny.
I, cause, cause still in my mind, I was like, I'm about to show him. Let me get him this picture. I'm gonna show him. He's just not remembering correctly. So I was like, I'm about to show him. And then as soon as I opened the picture, I was like, oh shit. And so I looked for another picture, and I kept looking for pictures. Like I was looking for pictures of myself that whole time, and I was like, okay, you might just be a little delusional, Cameron. And that's why I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just color it in. Because I wanted to be like, it's the lighting, it's the lighting. I remember showing a baby picture of myself one time. Tina, what's up? How are you? How are you?
Yes.
Where are you joining us from? I think Tina said they were in Texas, but my memory is shot right now. But
She's from
oh,
Texas for
let
sure.
me get us live on IG. We're gonna go live on IG. Um, what was I about to say though? What was I saying? Oh, I was looking for pictures, and I was looking for pictures, and I was like, oh, it's the lighting, it's the lighting. And I remember showing up. Oh, I need to turn this light on. I remember showing my baby picture one time to a friend. Um, well, not a friend, but somebody in the industry. It was an actor that I was like friendly with or whatever. And we were talking, and she's African, and I mean she's like African American. And see, this is why I don't use African American. See, I'm already getting off track. But she's like African, as in knows like where her people are from, all that good stuff. Has family back there, can go visit anytime, right? Like that type of
Mhm.
African American, but was like born and raised here. Okay, so she's a lot darker than me. And I just remember being like, I remember showing her a baby picture, and I was so light and so yellow, and I was like, oh, I felt betrayed by my own self. And I remember being like making all kind of excuses. I was like, it was the lighting, okay? The lighting was yellow, back in the day, like back in the like because I was like, I couldn't have been more than like, I don't even know if I was a year old yet, in the picture. And I was like, this is, and I'm making all kind of excuses. And then finally, a friend who knows very well that I'm like 5 shades underneath my clothes. I'm a lot lighter under my bathing suit parts. And she was like, girl, shut up. Like, no, you're not. Like, be quiet. And I'm just like, fine, whatever. And I remember asking her one time, she's really into makeup. I remember asking her a question, and it was about my complexion. And she said, which part? And I said, oh, excuse me. And she was like, well, which part of you? And I was like, wow, that's rude. I mean, she's right, but that is rude. I will, I'll show you off camera. I'm
You're
a
like
lot, I think
you.
I'm closer underneath like my brassiere area and like my shorts. uh
Mhm.
I'm a lot closer to Kimmy's color than I am yours. Don't tell anybody I said that. We'll cut this out of the last stream.
Yeah,
But I spent a
it's
lot
like
of
I was
go
about to say
ahead.
it's one of those. Well, like, she might be right, but you ain't have to let me have it like that.
Right, I was like, wow, that was rude. um no, I'm only joking. Kind of, sort of, mostly, maybe a little. um but yeah, I spent a lot of time as a kid like tanning before I knew that black people could sunburn and could also get skin cancer, and that we should be wearing sunscreen. I spent a lot of time, and when I say like tanning, I mean like outside, oiled up, in bathing suit attire, and in the sun in my parents' backyard, or my backyard, my front yard, like with neighbors being like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Mind your business. I'm trying to look like I'm not adopted. Thank you."
I did a tanning bed one time just because I at times vitamin D deficient. The first time though, I went in one just to be funny, and I walked in and because it was a friend of mine that worked there, and I came in. I was like, I'm here for a tan, and then they looked at me funny, and I was like, that's offensive. And
You
they
can get
started.
vitamins from the tanning bed.
I don't know.
Child, okay. Child, Kimmy said, my color, I am white with an H at the beginning. Yes, I know. And Kimmy, are you a natural redhead? Are you a natural ginger? I don't know. I noticed the gingerness, of course, because I have a thing for red hair. I don't know why. I'm still trying to unpack that.
Same.
But yes, I know that you are white, but you will see, or maybe you won't. But I will show. I'll show you guys after the stream under my shirt, not like under my clothes, but I mean like when I take off my shirt, like you'll see in my like this area right here. I've had nurses be pretty alarmed, like when I take off my shirt to like reveal my pick line. They're like, oh, is this like discoloration from the thing? And I'm like, yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not my natural color. This is discoloration from whatever you were about to say. That's yes. Because like the rest of my family, so I get my like slightly lighter complexion. By no means do I consider myself light skinned. I'm not saying that at all. But I get my slightly lighter complexion from my biological father. But I'm my mom's twin. And so, like, yes, now in my face, where I think we're about the same shade, we can wear the same shade of makeup, but everybody else in my family is at least that shade or darker,
Hmm.
and everybody else has like thick, quote unquote, regular black people hair, you know.
Hmm.
And it just, I guess God was like, oh, we're gonna give you these I mean, I did not win the genetic lottery, I am telling you, between sickle cell and the stuff that I got from my father and the stuff that I got from my mom. And I told you I'm my mom's clone. So I mean, I guess that's kind of the cool thing, which is whatever my mom has gone through in her life, I sort of have this like blueprint, like, well, that's probably going to happen to me around that same age. Um,
Touche. Touche.
that has been the case so far, but I did not win the genetic lottery. Let me tell you. All right, let me just pull up. We're live now, by the way. Hello,
Yeah.
hello, y'all. We're, I
Oh,
mean, the community check-ins we're live on IG, by the way, as well. The
awesome.
community check-ins are already supposed to be low key and chill, but they're gonna be. This one's gonna be super, super, hella low key and chill because I am not feeling great. There's a lot happening in my life right now that is not amazing, and so I still want to do this. And I was like, I'm gonna be chill. And I just told Ray, I was like, hey, bro, I need you. Come through, hold us down. So
I
I don't
think I
know.
guess before we jump into it, because I don't want this to be out of context later when we see it. But I think so Kimmy did respond to your question about the
I saw it.
hair.
I saw it.
Okay, great, great, good. There we go. Alrighty, let's
What were you
see.
about to say though? Is that what you were about to say?
Oh yeah, I was drawing
Okay.
attention just in case we want to mention before we
Yep, I
jump
got it.
to it.
I did not
Okay,
mean to close that.
not a natural red. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can get ready to hop right on in then. Let's start with our introductions. Go ahead
There's
and
no need
remind everybody who we
get
are.
ready to go on in. Hold on one second, Ray. Let me tie my I need to put my headphones on, but that means I need to tie my do rag first. 1 second. Let me see.
Okay. Too
You
easy.
can keep going, but actually, you know what? Let's do that first. Let's do the intro, and then I will get my life together.
All
You want to go
right.
first? You want me to go first?
I can go first. It's all
Go
good.
for it. Go for it.
So, Sat Shri Akal. I'm Ray. My pronouns are he, him. I'm presently coming to you from Ute Mountain Ute, or Northern Arapaho land, or as some people like to call it, Colorado Springs. And to kind of definitely say honestly similar to what Small said. Kind of the same. I don't seem like it, but I'm really. But it's been a rough week, and it was a rough weekend too. But I'm really happy to be here with you guys. So that's kind of what's gotten me in a real upbeat place right now. Really happy to be doing this, and happy to get some back and forth because I know last Wednesday stream was freaking awesome, and I'm looking forward to this one being as well. So again, I'm glad we're here, and we're going to go ahead and have some good conversation today.
Yep. My bad, y'all. I forgot I need to put this up here so y'all can see me properly. Yo, is that better, Ray? How am I looking?
Yeah.
We looking better?
Uh, yeah, I would probably just, yeah, because I was about to say
I'll
you're a
slide over
little
in a
bit off
second.
center. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll slide over in a second as soon as I finish putting my do rag on. Yo, what up, y'all? Smalls here. Actually, you know what? For the sake of this is the producer me thinking ahead. Let me let me fake center myself for the intro in case we need to repurpose this intro. What up, y'all? Smalls here. My pronouns are she, her, coming to you from Chumash and Tongvaland. Why was I about to say Ute Mountain Ute? That is not where I'm coming to you from. I'm coming to you from Chumash and Tongvaland here in Southern California, the greater Los Angeles area. Over here in the residential area though, like where the native Californians live, not where the transplants are. I'm not saying we're better than y'all. Yes, I am. Anyways, thank y'all for joining us today. Luckily, thank you for every one of you guys that are here, that are already participating in the chat, in the conversation. I appreciate it. It's already helping my mood and everything that's happening. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about what's happening because I think we're gonna touch on it a little bit more in some of our future content. Ray and I still kind of have to talk about that, but he kind of gave me like a thumbs up and a green light that it might be a good idea. So we'll talk to you about that, what's happening with that in a bit. But thank y'all for joining us. This is community check-in number 4. We are still on hiatus. We will be extending the hiatus just slightly for several reasons, which we'll get into just a tad bit. And today we're going to talk about performative allyship, avoiding performative allyship more specifically, as well as highlighting some creators. And we'll tell you how we got there and why we're doing that and what those two things have to do with each other in just a second, but I think Ray has something first.
But first, of course, like we always like to do, we want to go ahead and get everyone worked in and see what's going on with everybody. So, a lot of times, what we'll do, of course, is we'll have everybody go ahead and drop their emoji, but we're going to do something a little bit different today. So, we want to know what is your favorite or wildest slang? And I mean, lingo from your culture. What would you say is your favorite? Um, Personally, I would say for me, let's see. I'd have to actually, now that I think about it, I got to think on a little bit because the first thing that's coming to my mind is phrases because we got quite a few phrases down south,
The first thing that
and
came to your mind was what?
was actually a phrase
What
instead
is
of
it?
just
That
outright
works.
slang. Okay,
No,
because I was
that works. Like if it's is it regional? Is something specific to your area, to Texas, to H Town? If that's where you are.
I'd say it's definitely more southern, and it's I could show you better than I could tell you. It's-
Oh, is that Southern? I don't know if that's Southern. My mom said that to me growing up. That's like one of those things that's like ingrained in my head. See, it's tough for me to say whether it's Southern or not Southern because my whole family is from the South. I was like first generation to be born in California. So it could be like a Southern thing. I don't know. There's a lot of things about, my upbringing that I'm like, oh yeah, like I can relate to a lot of things from the South and Southern culture. So it could be. But yeah, I love that phrase. I heard it earlier today watching a video. I can show you better than I can tell you. My mom said that all the time. She still says that. And I remember, you know how like you're growing up, your parents say things to you and you hear it, and then like you understand it, but then you get to a point or you get to an experience once you're older and you're like, it just hits different because like you get it now. And then maybe the student becomes a teacher or like I just
Mhm.
remember, anytime I say that to my mom now, like I can show you better than I can tell you. It's almost like, you know, giving her props for the lesson that she gave me. Like, I get it now, moms. Yeah, I can show this person better than I can tell them.
And
Yeah, I love
I
that phrase.
think because of what we talked about before with AVE2, it also has so many different meanings because it could also mean you in trouble. Because that's the
That's
way that it
very
was
true.
applied to me very often.
Well, I mean, I think it always, I won't say it always means that, but I mean, I think that's like, yeah, that's an inherent, uh, that is absolutely a way that it can be used, right? Like, oh, you think I'm joking? Oh, you think I'm playing? Okay, I can show you better than I can tell you. That's how I always take it.
Yeah.
I can't think of a time where that's said and it's like friendly. I mean, I guess you could say it like that, but usually you say it differently, like, right? Like, oh, I can give you, let me show you this example or whatever. But when somebody says that specific phrase with that wording, I can show you better than I can tell you. I promise you're in trouble. Like you're in trouble. Like what they're saying is like, I'm not gonna do too much talking. I'm gonna just prove it. I'm gonna let my actions do the talking or do the communicating. Yeah, that's how I look at it for sure, for sure.
That-
Um, a couple comments here. Tina says yes, Texas, dope. Kimmy says, "Are you asking if the curtains match the drapes?" That is absolutely not what I'm asking. I do not need to know that. Please do not answer that question. I am a very visual person. I Please don't. No. What I'm asking is if you just are a natural redhead, if you're a natural ginger. I don't care about anybody's drapes or curtains or whatever. Um, Curtains and drapes, aren't those the same thing? Aren't drapes? Never mind. Never mind. I don't want to know.
nope.
I don't want to know. What I'm saying is, I just want to know: if is your hair color naturally red? Were you born a redhead? Did you naturally change to being a redhead? Are you a redhead now? Am I tripping? Is my the colors in my computer screen not calibrated? That's all. Growing up, I love redheads. I don't know why. Archie was one of my favorite comics. My red has always been one of my favorite colors, or my favorite color. And my very first crush in school that I can remember was these two twin boys, Alex and Andrew. I hope they don't listen to this one day. They already know this, so I don't know why I matter. But Alex and Andrew, and I would go back and forth because they were so different. They were like opposite. One was like a good boy, one was like a bad boy, that vibe. And I named my first pet bird, well, my only pet bird, after Alex. So I've always had this thing for red hair, and I don't know if I liked Archie comics because I like the color red. Like, I don't know if I like red hair because I like the color red, or do I like the color red because I like red hair and because I like Archie comics drawing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But that's all I was asking. Gimme. Please don't tell me about your drapes or curtains or anything that's not on your head. Thank you. Thank you. Um,
Unfortunately, it is a question that they get. Anyone that's redheaded gets asked way too often anyway. So I could see why that like, that's always the question.
Yeah, no, that is not me. I'm not asking about anybody's drapes or curtains or what's in your pants. If I see it, I don't need to see it. For those of you joining us on Instagram, first of all, thank you. We will be shutting off Instagram in just a bit. We are weaning over to doing YouTube only for
Yeah,
our live streams. Um, there's a number of reasons for that, but yeah. So if you would like to continue joining us with this live, there's a link down below. But another way that you can get there is actually I'm going to type it in YouTube. Ray, what we got coming up first while I type this in because I know that the keyboard's going to be mad annoying. By the way,
certainly.
love your pronunciation of Satriacol today.
Oh, thank you, thank
Fabulous.
you. All right, so of
Um,
course, oh, my bad.
oh, we got a couple news and announcements. You want to get started with those?
Certainly, certainly. Okay, so first and foremost, the Black and Sick Discord is officially open to the public. Should you wish to, and we of course want you to join that Discord, then you can most definitely send us a message, direct message, so that we can go ahead and send you the link to the Discord. Um, and we can go ahead and be in community, much like this. Today's topic is about being community with us so we can chat a little bit more, get a few more people in there. Um, like we said earlier, which we're going to discuss a little bit later, whole lot been going on lately. So we plan to get a little bit more jumping. And that's me sounding old because nobody uses that anymore. But we plan to get it a bit more active going forward as well. Like we said, this weekend has been kind of rough. But aside from that, of course, there are different ways, and we most definitely need it for you to support Black and Sick. We've had quite a few people ask how they can help, and we appreciate it. We can use a lot of help. But some of the ways that you can do that, of course, is through Patreon. We, of course, do have a Patreon. There are a couple different tiers there, but mostly set up right now in a way that allows you to basically be able to donate more than anything to Black and Sick, as well as SEVA, which is, of course, any assistance that we need. And there's quite a bit. There's a lot of different things you can do for the Black and Sick project. We can, of course, well, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do for the Black and Sick projects. You can reach out. We can give you a bit more information on that. You can, of course, join the Discord, and we also could use some. Excuse me. We could also use some people in that Discord as well. I think next thing that we want to do hop into though, I think that we had some upcoming topics that we needed to discuss. What were those?
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, for as far as folks who want to be a part of the project, who want to, whether you want to join the team every now and then be a mod, there's a myriad of ways you can help. But we're going to be having a meeting coming up, sort of a meeting. We just want to hear from you guys, like what ways you can help. And so we're going to try to schedule that. But we need to know the best days and times to try to schedule that. So if you can hop on Discord, that's going to be our HQ, like Ray said, and just there'll be a message that you guys on to in the Seva channel to give us like the days and times. Like I know some people have already said like, oh, Tuesdays and Wednesdays is my best days, and one of the reasons we're doing this is because everybody all over different time zones. We've got folks in Canada, UK. What am I missing? Right, Australia,
Mm-hmm.
US, of course, and India, who have offered to help. And that is wonderful. That is awesome. That is amazing. I think that is actually an advantage to have full time zones, but it also means it's tough to just one meeting. So we might have two, we might just have one meeting, and whoever can't make it, we might do like one offs or whatever. So, as far as upcoming content, I left the hiatus calendar open on purpose this time. And so we've got the 90-day project review coming up, even though it's going to be well over 90 days, because 90 days would have been, let me see, December, January, February 14th, 15th would have been like 90-day review. But and the whole point of the 90-day review is to like let you guys know where we are, what we've gotten accomplished so far, where we are, goals, what's coming up next, just like where are we, giving you guys some details about what's happening with Black and Sick. Like we always say, this is a community endeavor, not just for one people, but this is about the community. So we got a project review for, any other project. Some other topics that we got coming up: proselytizing and Sikhi and other religions and all that good stuff. Capitalizing the B. So that's about Black and Brown being a culture. So while Black American is a culture for very specific reasons, having to do with not having a connection back to Africa or where we descend from, as a result of being descendants of enslaved people, it Black American is its own culture. A lot of people forget that. Because people will literally write a comment and they will include in Punjabi and all these other cultures, and they will capitalize the I, they will capitalize the P in Punjabi, and they will capitalize all these other things, and then write B in lowercase as if it's just a color, right? Or as if it's just a race. There is a reason. I'm not going to spend too much time on like whether or not to capitalize the W in white. I will say that most white people can trace their lineage back to somewhere, so that's their culture, right? But for us, Black American, we've had to create our culture based on the circumstances, and so it should be capitalized. It is just like any other culture or ethnicity or nationality or whatever. And then we also have the Black and Brown Solidarity episode, which I'm really looking forward to. We also have, and I'm hoping that, right, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm hoping that we can get Beyond on that in that episode. He knows so much about like Punjabi culture. If you guys aren't following Beyond, we'll show you his channel here in just a second. I mean, his TikTok profile in just a second. His channel as well, because we're going to show some content from him. He's an artist, but he also knows so much about Punjabi culture, which I really appreciate. I've learned so much from him already. But if not, we also are looking for people who can participate in that episode in one way or another, either researching, helping us write the episode, or appearing in the episode, whether it's participating, sending in a clip, or joining us as we record it, as we do it live, however we're going to do it. But the Black and Brown Solidarity episode is going to be a big one. And we'll talk about why a little bit later. But,
Okay.
A lot of the issues that we talk about go both ways. It's not just Punjabi people being on like the quote unquote offense or doing wrong, and Black people being the recipient of that. Black people have done wrong to brown folks as well, to South Asian folks, to Asian folks in general. And so we really want to tackle that and address. We also want to focus on the ways in which we are similar, and the parallels that we have in our culture, and the solidarity that we once had, and hoping to get back to. I mean, I still think we have a bit of solidarity, I'm not gonna lie, but and then interfaith and interracial, another one that we have coming up. Then we have our Pride series in June. But I messaged Ray. Did I skip anything, Ray? My bad. Let me
Oh
see. Where
no,
am I?
no, you are
Oh,
good.
we have a. I don't know if you guys have seen called Christians Atheists, which I'm dying to watch. I'm kind of dying to watch all at the same time. I'm sort of dreading watching it, but we decided. And I think we're gonna do that live. And I gotta talk. I don't know if we're gonna do it live or pre-record it, and I don't know if it's gonna be on a Wednesday or maybe on a weekend. I don't know yet. But we definitely want to watch that and react to that. So that's coming up. And then we would love some other people to join us on that too. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then we're coming. I was talking to Kimmy last night. So I don't know how much I can say. I didn't get like clearance to say that. Jesus. And then 2007, right? Then if you're learning it very often, you need to learn about deaf culture and deaf community. And so as such, a number of deaf leaders and advocates.
Okay, let me check there and see.
And I remember back at the end of last year that there was a law. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we'll do a larger segment on this that what Kimmy and I talked about the other night. I just happened to remember it, and I was telling her about it. But the ACLU in Delaware is suing or threatening to, or they did at least, to to take sign away from students. That's really the best way I can say it, which sounds bananas and bonkers, and like surely that can't be correct. Children through spoken language only, and to deprive them of sign language, which is very often or often deaf children's first language. And yeah, we'll talk about that more. That's wild. So that's coming up. Anybody, or if you got anything that you want to add to that, please let us know. Idea, but you kind of a general idea of what I've been dealing with. Chat earlier, and you read it. Like, what was your initial thoughts, or like, because we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. That was just earlier today. What were your initial thoughts?
Okay, can you hear me?
You hear me? I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure because it was breaking up a little bit, so I didn't really get to hear a decent portion of that, and so I didn't hear the question either.
Oh, I said, what were your initial thoughts? I said, you kind of have an idea of what I've been dealing with, like with my doctors, with
Oh,
medication, trying to
yes.
deal with that. And I said, and I put this idea that I had earlier today, I put it in the chat. And I was just, because we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So I was just wondering, what were your, before I like tell them, like, the idea and like what it is,
Certainly.
which you're welcome to tell them however much you want to tell them. But I was just wondering, like, what were your initial thoughts? What was your initial reaction? Because I know
Well,
you like responded and said it was a good idea, but yeah.
I mean, the biggest reason I think it's a good idea is because what you've basically been going through, it's an outrage. As a medical professional myself, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Um, and I think the kind of hoops that you're having to jump through, it's even worse because how many people don't have the know-how or the willpower or the drive to do all of that? How many people just have to just take it? How many people are left without care or just end up not here because they have to do all of what you're having to do right now? It's absolutely ridiculous, and I was outraged, still am. So there's definitely a need to bring some awareness to what's going on. It's not foreign because, like me and you talked about, had to deal with some of the same stuff as it relates to right now what we're working on with, in my home. So it's frustrating, and yeah, I definitely think that I think it's a project that's worth some time to put in to really just encapsulate what's going on. Hopefully, it brings some awareness and gives some other people a voice because I know you're not the only one.
Yeah, so essentially what he's talking about, I've been dealing with so for those who don't know, I have a hold on one second. For those who don't know, I was born with a chronic illness. I was born with a blood disorder. It's a genetic blood disorder. It's inherited, and over 80% of the people affected by it, or who have this disease, are Black in America. Over 80% of the people in America who have it, and I can't remember the last number I saw was like 88%, but I don't know the numbers right now, the specific numbers. It is 50% of the people who have it, and I'm talking about sickle cell. For those who don't know, sickle cell it's a genetic blood disorder, and 50% of the people with sickle cell or thalassemia are in India. And so when we talk about Black and Brown solidarity, when we talk about solidarity with the South Asian community, this is yet another thing that we sort of have in common. It's something that affects a great number of us, and so as you can imagine, let me see. I'm trying to see if I have that book. Oh yeah, right here. This is these are the two books that I always show. Man, the internet is rough today. These are the two books I always show: Medical Apartheid by, I believe, Harriet Washington. Yes, Harriet A. Washington, and then Body and Soul, which is more of like a historical accounting of it, a little bit of how the role that the Black Panther Party played in sickle cell and in healthcare in America for Black people. healthcare for Black people in America. For those who don't know, one of the main reasons that we do not have universal healthcare right now is because people voted against their own best interest because they did not want free slaves or formerly enslaved people or the descendants of slaves to have healthcare. And so, if you have universal healthcare, well, the Negroes get it too. We can't have that. They'll just have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and deal with it, and let us keep experimenting on them. Anyways, so this is a really great book, Medical Apartheid, and that's why I'm just calling it the Medical Apartheid Project right now because I don't know what else to call it. But essentially, we want to film some type or put together, produce some type of like fancy vlog slash mini documentary. And I guess the reason I'm calling it a fancy vlog is more to do with imposter syndrome than anything else, because technically it is a documentary that we're talking about. But just the something that I've dealt with my whole life is fighting to get care, right? Despite the number of people, sickle cell is one of the most common genetic disorders in the US. And despite that, we have so few treatment options. Um, a lot of people will tout a bone marrow transplant, which is not a universal cure. You need to have a sibling, and you need to have a sibling match to do that. So I'm an only child. That would not have worked for me even if I wanted it. It is also very dangerous. I knew somebody personally who got a bone marrow transplant and did not make it, right? It has very real consequences. When I was a child, it had like a 50% success rate, which is not a great success rate. And so you really have to be dealing with the worst of the worst symptoms of it to really take that risk. And the person that I knew who passed from a bone marrow transplant, she was dealing with like the worst of the worst symptoms every day. For context, the hallmark of this disease is pain or pain crises. So I can't remember a time that I woke up and did not feel pain. Like I don't really know what that's like. But then on top of that, on top of regular daily chronic pain, right? Because this is a disorder that can affect any part of your body that needs blood, and your entire body needs blood, right? So it can be in any of your limbs, your face, your eyes. I mean, it affects like every part of my body. And so when people say, and that's the case for most people with sickle cell, right? And so when people say like your disability doesn't define you, like mine quite literally does, right? Like there's no decision that I can make that I don't have to take into account sickle cell, my illness, my comorbidities, my disabilities. And so the problem with having so few treatment options means that when you're dealing with the pain, the only thing you can really do is treat the symptoms, treat the pain. So that what does that mean? That means pain medication. Well, scientists, researchers, people, professionals smarter and more researched and more educated than I have said that the pain from sickle cell is more severe than natural childbirth and more severe than a heart attack, right? That's the type of pain we're talking about. We're not talking about like I got a headache. We're not talking about I got an injury. We're talking about like pain so severe that it is debilitating. And there was a period where I was really sick, and when you were that sick, the only thing you really can do is like either sleep all day, or you're taking pain medicine that puts you to sleep. Like, and I don't know how much you guys know about like narcotics, but a lot of them are strong, and which is the point. But they can make you drowsy, they can make you sleepy, and so you have to really find the ones that work well for you, that will that are strong enough to treat your pain but won't make you like a zombie, right? And then you have to worry about becoming addicted, or having a chemical dependency on the drug, right? Because that's something that they sort of like drill into you. You're going to become addicted. You're going to become addicted. So there was a period of time where I wouldn't even take pain medication because I was scared of becoming addicted. I was scared of becoming an addict because at the time nobody told me about the difference between chemical dependency and addiction. Anyways, the point is, because this is an illness that affects mostly Black people, and then the other people that it affects are brown people, Latinos, people who descend from Africa, from the Mediterranean, from the Latin America area. This is a genetic mutation for malaria. So think about the areas greatly affected by malaria. Those are the areas most prevalent with sickle cell. And so, and because it's genetic, that's how we get it in the U.S., right? So it affects mostly Black and brown people, and the main treatment up until a couple years ago, they started developing gene therapies and genetic whatever other kind of therapies that again are not super accessible, not super universal, but at least it's an option for some people, or will be an option pretty soon for some people. The only treatment option is pain management. That's really it. I mean, you can do your infusions, you can do all these other things. Like, and when I say pain management, I don't just mean medicine. That is one of them. There are a whole bunch of other things that we do: heating pads and lidocaine patches and KT tape, like kinesiology tape, and hot water and hot showers and like staying hydrated and all these things to help manage the pain. But that's really what it comes down to, is pain management. Well,
Hmm.
part of that pain management is going to be medication. And we're not talking about Tylenol or ibuprofen or things that you can get over the counter. We're talking about pain that's strong enough to manage uh, to manage pain that is more severe than natural childbirth or heart attack. So that's going to be your heavy duty narcotics. Well, because of this opioid epidemic, right? I'm sure by now, if you know anything about anything, putting those pieces together, you got an opioid epidemic, but you have an illness that is the hallmark of which is severe pain, excruciating severe pain, and then you got black and brown people. That is a not great combination. And so what it means is that people will see either the amount that I'm taking, what I'm taking, the dose that I'm taking, and say, this is too much. This is too much. Like you can't do this. Okay. Well, this is what works. And there are people on higher doses and taking more than me. What do you mean this is? Well, I'm not comfortable giving you this much. Okay, well, this is what's been working for the past 4 years, and it took us almost a year to find something that did work. Well, why aren't you on a long acting? Well, because I take the long acting and then it makes me crash, which means I get about a 4 or 5 hour workday. Well, I'm just not comfortable giving you this much. Okay. Well, what should I do instead? Well, have you tried? Yes. Well, did you try? Yes. Well, what about how come? Yes. And yes, I did that. I tried that. We tried that. I worked with my doctors, the people who actually follow my illness. I work with them, and this is where we are. And this is the pharmacist talking, the pharmacist who doesn't know anything about me. Um, well, I'm just not comfortable with this. This is the last time I'm filling this. You got to go to another pharmacy. Okay. Why aren't you filling it? So my doctor calls. My doctor calls and tries to advocate for me and says, "Hey, this is a patient that does what she's supposed to do. Um, we haven't had any problems with her. Her medical, like, just kind of does their best to advocate for me, right?" And and the pharmacist basically just doesn't care, right? And it comes down to medical professionals prioritizing their own comfort, their own lack of knowledge over my well-being, right? Um, and some will even say, well, I know other sickle cell patients and they don't need this much. Everybody's different, right? I know some who need more than me. I know when I'm in the hospital, my normal dose might be 2 or 3 milligrams for a particular one. And there's a reason I'm not saying specifics and I'm not saying names, because that's not really the point. This is something that impacts a whole bunch of people. But I take 2 or 3 milligrams, which is more than most people, but less than a lot of people with sickle cell. And I know somebody who takes up to 8, which I think is a really high dose. I didn't even know you could get that much and still be breathing. Um, but the point is, you build a tolerance for this medication, um, and as much as you build a tolerance for your pain, it's still there. It's still debilitating. It's not going away, right? Um, I always tell people to imagine your foot falls asleep, like the blood supply is cut off from your foot falls asleep, but it's like 1,000 times worse than that, right? So whatever tingling you're feeling, I would love to feel that. I would love if that was what my pain felt like. No, it's 1,000 times worse. And sometimes your bones can die because they're not getting enough blood circulation. And sometimes your organs are messed up. And sometimes you have, like I had to have an emergency surgery when I was in college to have my gallbladder removed and the pain was so bad. Like, this is for context, right? Keep in mind, I've been dealing with this my whole life. I was born with this, right? So I'm in college. And the fact that I even went away to college already is already a feat in and of itself. But I go away to college and I'm in my dorm room. I don't have a roommate at the time because this is like post Katrina, post Hurricane Katrina for those who are super, super young. And I'm texting my friend. And I guess I stopped texting her and she's like, I'm coming to your room, right? Because I'm in pain. And I'm in, like, again, I have a certain tolerance for my pain because I'm used to it, but that's how severe it can get, right? And so she comes to my room, and the last thing I remember is getting up to answer my door, and the next thing I remember is ambulance. I mean, paramedics being in front of me. The pain was so bad that it caused me to pass out. And this is somebody, like, I'm somebody who, again, I have a high pain tolerance because I'm used to it on a certain level. So when my pain is at a 7 or 8, I'm not looking like most people look. I'm not crying and screaming and, oh my god, you learn how to breathe through the pain. You learn how to try to keep going or whatever, right? And that's how bad the pain had gotten, that I stood up and passed out. Well, I had gallstones and I had to have emergency surgery. There was things going on with my organs, whatever. So I realize I'm kind of all over the place, but the point is, this is something that I've been dealing with a long time, fighting. I will go to pharmacies and I will present my prescription, and they will flat out lie to me and say, "Oh, we don't carry this here. No, we don't carry this at all. We don't dispense this." And it's a really common pain medication, right? It's a really common pain medication. So I'm like, well, that's a lie. And so then I have to call my doctor's office and say they're saying they don't carry it. Then I get, you know, the medical assistant on the phone. She calls the pharmacy. She asks, and they say, "Oh yeah, we have that. I don't know how much we have in stock, but we have it. Yeah, how can I help you?" And then she goes, "Well, I just had a patient that just left from there not too long ago, and you said you didn't carry it." Oh, we well, it's because, well, no, I don't know that we said we didn't carry it. Well, was saying that we didn't have it in stock. You just said you had some in stock. Well, I just meant, like, I don't know how much. Just lying. Like, they just will flat out lie to me on a regular basis, right? Tell me they don't carry it because they don't want to really deal with me. I've had situations where I will go in, they will give me a hard time. I will go back out to the car with my prescription, and my mom goes, "What's going on? What's happening?" They're giving me a hard time again. They don't want to fill it. She says, "Okay, 1 second, be right back." She takes the prescription, takes it, right, the same prescription, right then and there. Mind you, me and my mom look like twins, so why they didn't clock this, I don't know. She goes back into the pharmacy, and they don't give her a hard time. They don't ask any more questions. "Okay, did you want to wait for this, or did you want to come back later to pick it up?" She says, "No, I'll wait. You can fill it right now." Right. And you know, I have the advantage of, I've been a pharmacy tech before, so I kind of know how things go. And after she gets it filled, she says, "I just want to know why you guys had no problem filling this medication for me, but my daughter just came in here and you guys told her this, that, and the third." "Oh, well, we sometimes have to verify," but you guys didn't verify it when I handed you the prescription, right? So the point that I'm making is that there can be a lot of discrimination, right? Based on how I present, based on how I look, based on the assumptions that they make when they see me, right? I will always call ahead to the pharmacy and say, "Hey, I have this prescription. It's for this medication. Da 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 da. This is my doctor. Blah 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 blah." I will say all these things, and they will tell me one thing, and then I will get to the pharmacy, and they will see me, and the answers are completely different, even if I'm talking to the exact same person, right? "Richard, I just talked to you on your phone. You said XYZ." "Oh, that was you? That was me. That was me." Right? So the point that I'm making is, like, I'm not the only person that deals with this. I've been dealing with it for a long time. I'm exhausted. It's like so dehumanizing. Oftentimes, like, I hear about dogs and animals getting treated better than us. And even if I was to just, make the concessions where I dress differently going into the pharmacy, maybe I don't have on my do rag, maybe I don't have on a hat, maybe whatever. People shouldn't have to deal with that. People shouldn't have to go through this. And there are a number of medical professionals who are trying to do better, but it's not getting better fast enough. And so I just kind of wanted to put together some type of, like, documentary. This is what I've done in the past. If you were to go to my channel, Hella Swanky, um, on YouTube, you'll see some of the videos that I've done in the past for, like, corporate situations and whatever else. But I just asked Ray. I said, "Ray, I have this idea." And part of it, if I'm being honest, was because it was selfish in the sense that, like, I know that I need to do a better job of advocating for myself. But it's just like there are just so many instances in which I need to advocate for myself, in which I need to stand up for myself, and I just let it go. And I'm like, I can't let it go this time. Like, I have to be able to stand up for myself. And I know that I will do that if it is a project outside of myself. And so I asked Ray, like, "What do you think? This is my idea." And so we're going to be doing that. We're going to need some help with that, producing it, research, uh, you know, editing. All We're gonna need all kind of help with that. So if you're down to help, if you're interested, um, I would love to talk to you more about that. So that's the medical apartheid project that we're talking about right now. I don't know what it'll be titled, but that's that for right now.
Okay.
But we're gonna move on to performative allyship. It kind of all ties together.
Most
And
definitely.
I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Ray. I saw a video recently, and because we'll dive deeper into this later, I'm not gonna say too much about the details. But I'll just say I saw a video recently in which the person was they listed a number of communities who have done work or spoken up about a particular topic or issue or cause, right? But they didn't mention Black people, right? They were like, "This community, this community, this community. They've been telling you guys, they've been educating, they've been doing this." And I'm like, but it was the Black people, though, Black Americans, who really laid the groundwork for that, right? It's similar to, like, the LGBT gay rights movement. It was Black and brown trans women who laid the groundwork for that, who started that. And that the same is true here, right? And so I was like, how the hell did we get left out, right? And I remember that this is somebody who said that they are not in community with any Black Sikhs or any Black people, really, right? And so I thought about that, and I thought about performative allyship and how do we avoid performative allyship? How do we recognize performative allyship? And I think it starts with expanding our communities and making sure that we have diverse communities. And so, Ray, do you want to take it from here?
Certainly, certainly. I think first, before we even try to get further into talking about performative allyship, we kind of have to look into an idea of what even is that. And I think the best thing that would help us do that is considering what superficial activism would even be, and that's basically like focusing on the appearance of being an ally instead of actually doing anything. And I can say for sure we've
And
seen
to
that
me,
a lot.
I just want to cut
Go
in
ahead.
because Ray, 1 second. I just want to cut in because allyship is not the same as activism, and so
Hmm.
you can be a good ally without being an activist, right? I don't believe that everybody has
Hmm.
to be an activist, but I do believe
Hmm.
that everybody has the duty and responsibility to be a good allies or accomplices for particular communities. So I just want to be clear about
Hmm.
that.
Certainly, certainly. And like I said, like I was saying too, it's kind of like there's a lot of people that do want to look like, or they don't, you don't necessarily want to be the bad guy. So a lot of people can, on the surface, show, okay, yeah, I support this, or yeah, I'm around when these conversations are happening, but never actually do or show up in any kind of way that shows that you actually care about what's going on with these people. So, that's basically what we want to get into a little bit today. We want to get into what being a good, I guess I could say real, but what being a good ally even looks like, because a lot of people don't know. I'm not going to pretend that everyone intentionally um, is performative. Uh, some people are, but some people really don't know what it looks like to be an ally. So I think that it helps for us to definitely discuss and dive deeper into what being a good ally is.
We're having some major connectivity issues right here. So Ray, if you see me just sitting here staring at you, is because that's what's happening. I'm not sure why. I'm actually hardwired into my internet, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like the internet in general, but we're having some major connectivity issues. So forgive us if you start things start to get choppy or whatever else, and also please let us know. Um, so yeah, so okay, so performative allyship. Um, I think something that's important to remember about performative allyship is that it's not always malicious. It's not always intentional, and that's why I said being able to recognize it. I think it's important to talk about that because there are plenty. I think there most allies, most people who would call themselves allies, truly believe that they are good allies. I think they believe that they're doing it correctly. There are a lot fewer guys. It's not just an identity. It's not just an address. And yeah, like Ray said, when you focus on like the appearance of allyship rather than like meaningful action or rather than actual deeds, that's how you get into the performative aspect of it, right? It's like if you think about gender, you can perform gender, but then you can also just be your gender, right? Like you like the way that I sort of like perform my gender can look very different than the way that somebody else will perform gender, but might be the same gender, right? And so performing and being are often two very different things. And so for example, I think it is difficult to say that you are an ally to the Black community and then not be in community with any Black people. I don't actually think that's possible. I don't know. What do you think, Ray? Do you think it's possible to actually be an ally, be a good ally, and then be and not be in community with people of that group? And to be clear, when I say in community with, I don't mean like literally. I don't mean like your neighbor. I mean that too, right? Like your neighbors, your friends, your circle. But I just mean like um, people that you engage with, that you interact with, that you share stories with, that you open up to, that you are in community with, right? Like my community is incredibly diverse, right? The people in community with that I exchange with, that I interact with on a regular basis, whether it's via social media, online, because I always say online is still real life. A lot of people we'll say online and then real life, but online spaces is still real life. And I have people that I am in community with who I've never met in person, but I am still in community with them. And so then my question would be for anybody watching, listening, but then also Ray, can you be an ally to a group or community that you are not in community with?
I don't think so at all. Because what actually happens is I feel like oftentimes you first off, a lot of the things that you may say in your attempt to also appear come off as extremely disingenuous, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that if you're not in community, you don't actually know what's going on. So you end up doing weird things. Like I can give a great
Mm,
example. um, there was one time, there's a
mm,
museum in Houston, called the Buffalo Soldiers Museum. It's dedicated to one of the first all black units in the military, Buffalo Soldiers. And I was there one time because I love museums. And a white family came there,
mm,
and their kids were there, and they brought their kids all in Black Lives Matter shirts. And the father
mm.
happened to
Wow.
catch a yeah the father happened to catch a elder in the community, old black woman that I've seen around a lot. She's very active in the community, but he caught her particular and started going into this montage about how, I think the third ward area is so beautiful, and I just love it here, and I would love to live here. It's just I know that with me being white, I don't want to come in and just take over your spaces or anything else like that. But I just think it's so beautiful here. And it was so cringe to me. It was one of the biggest eye roll moments that I've ever had, because it's like, in not so many words, that statement in of itself, it showed me that you don't really know anyone,
Mm,
because we're not saying that you can't we're not saying that you can't live in the community. The problem is that people move into the community and change and take from the community in a way that you drive up the prices. You're actually taking from the community and making it a place that is no longer livable. If you can come
mm,
into a community and actually add to the community and help growth and work alongside, then that's a totally different story. But the
mm,
fact that you don't know that there's a distinction shows right there that you're not in community with Black folks,
mm,
because there are some people that are not Black folks that live in those communities that do not necessarily contribute to, God, brain fart. What's the word I want to use right now? When you move in and you're changing the neighborhood. Um,
gentrification.
yes, there are folks that live in the neighborhood that do not contribute to gentrification. You don't know
Mm,
enough.
mm. Yeah, yeah. I think it's like I kind of said at the beginning of the Black and Sick project, which was that like one of the reasons that we talk about the problems and the issues and the differences, one of the reasons that we bring up the differences is because in order to be equitable, in order to fight for, in order to be an ally for, you have to know what the community needs. Otherwise, you're making assumptions, right? Otherwise, you are operating based on what you think a community needs or what you think a person needs, right? But when you are in community with a group or a certain demographic of people or people from a certain demographic, excuse me, let me be clear, because I know that you could be in community with, the entire community. But if you are actually in community with people from a particular demographic, and not just one, not just a token, right? Not the I have a black friend, but yeah, I engage with South Asian people. Yeah, I engage with other Sikhs. Yeah, I engage with other queer people, and I hear them having these conversations, and I hear them having those conversations. And to be clear, like just because you know these people and you are friends with these people, um, if you do not present yourself as a safe space, like if you do not come off as authentic, like there are plenty of white people who will say like, oh, well, my black friends don't ever complain about stuff like this, or my black friends, I don't think they think that, they've never said anything to me about that, and we talk about all kind of stuff. That just means you're not safe to your black friend. You're not a safe enough space for your black friend to tell you about this, because I promise you they're having these conversations, they're just not having them with you, right? And so if you are authentic and doing what you should be doing as an ally, as an accomplice, and you are in community with members of these groups and demographics, um, you will be privy to some of those conversations. You will be privy to some of the issues, right? It's how I knew. We were talking about like some of the issues that I've heard brought up with the in the Punjabi community. I think like alcoholism is one of them, and
Hmm.
right away I said, and this goes into to other ways to be a good ally. Um, I knew right away, okay, one, that's not my story to tell. I'm not Punjabi, right? But it's something that I hear over and over and over from Punjabi folks, whether they are um, sort of had have dealt with a parent who has dealt with alcoholism, or a family member, or they've seen it in some other way, or they've dealt with it themselves. Like this is something that I hear quite a bit, right? Because I'm in community with a lot of Punjabi folks, and because I know that I need to boost their voices and not speak for them or speak over them, I also know it's not my story to tell. So as much as we can use our platform here at Black and Sick to talk about that issue, right? Um, we will be mindful that the people doing it will be Punjabi people. Right. And so, like you will see, I think the comment is still up now. Somebody said, like, somebody was sort of like ragging on like Punjabi culture. We were talking about that there's a difference between Punjabi culture and Sikhi. And somebody was like, basically blaming all the problems on Punjabi culture. And I was quick to say, like, hey, I don't actually think the problem is Punjabi culture itself. Like, I don't think Punjabi culture is inherently bad. Like, that is not the issue. The issue is, like colonization, white supremacy, some of the leftover BS from white supremacy and colonization and the British Raj, like all that good stuff, like people allowing those things to taint aspects of Punjabi culture. But Punjabi culture itself is not inherently the problem. And yet, being in community with Punjabi Sikhs or Punjabi people who are not Sikh, or Indian and South Asian people who are not Sikh, I hear about these type of conversations and these things, and then I know enough to know, okay, let me not speak for them or speak over them. And then the next thing I would say is knowing when to center people from that community. What does that mean? I don't know. Ray, do you want to speak to what it is to, like, you know, center people from that community? Because often we will say with Black and Sikh, like, we center Black and brown voices, we center Black and brown Sikhs and non-Punjabi Sikhs and things like that. Do you want to speak a little bit to what that means or what that looks like in praxis?
Sure. I can do that. So ideally, yes, you can talk about a wide host of situations. You can talk about a wide host of topics. But in doing so, it means that you want to take some time to really look into these things and dive into these things from the perspective of these people, which is why, as you mentioned before, a lot of times we do want to give space to the people in that community. Why? Because if we're not doing so, again, we run the risk of trying to talk for someone else. So in centering, we are focusing purely on that perspective. We need to get that perspective about these topics and about these issues. A wide margin of that is what we do, or what we're doing with Black and Sick. The purpose is to address a lot of things as they occur and as they are at the intersection, of course, of being Black and Sick. So that's why, in its very nature, this project is to center those voices.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think of a good example. I had one and I just lost it. Um, I think a good example is, and this is something that, like, even I have to work on, especially because I'm sensitive and can be like really empathic. But if I see somebody else, if somebody's telling me their story, right, they're telling me maybe about some trauma or something bad that has happened to them, and it's really sad and tragic, and it affects me, right, and then I start crying, and then I allow my emotions to sort of take center stage, and now people need to comfort me, or that person needs to stop what they're doing and comfort me, or whatever. That's not centering them. That's centering my feelings and my emotions. And that's not to say that my feelings and emotions are not valid, right? They absolutely are. And there's a time and a place, right? So a good in being a good ally, I will then do my best to, you know, wait for that right time and place, right? Or if I can't, to step away. I remember my neighbor, we were outside like on my porch, and she was telling me something, and it hit like real hard. Like, she was telling me something that happened that somebody said to her, and it hit me, and I was like, ooh. And I knew I was about to start crying, and I was trying to like hold it back. and I knew that I couldn't. So I said, "Oh, give me 1 second," right? I was like, "Give me 1 second," and I just stepped up and I went and I collected myself and I got myself together, right? The goal wasn't to let her know that I was crying, to let her know that I feel for her. Like, I can do that with my words, right? But I can do that in a way that doesn't force her to turn the table and be comforting me, right? Like, I was trying to center her experience, her emotions in that moment. And so when we can center the people that need to be centered in that moment, um, it will often inform the things that we need to do, say, be, not do, say, in order to be a good ally, right? Like, there's no rule book, there's no manual on being a good ally. I think, you just got to remember certain key things, like that it's an action that you need to center the folks who need to be centered in that moment, and then that you need to be boosting voices and walking alongside them or behind them, letting them lead the way, not assuming that you know what somebody needs better than they do, right? When we growing up, especially here in the West, in Western media, Western media makes it seem like all of Africa is so poor. Like, they just cannot fend for themselves. Like, they be outside sleeping in trees with the giraffes and the elephants and the lions. Like, that's how Western media very much was growing up before social media was a thing and we could kind of see things for ourselves, right? And so I think the initial thing is, oh, how can I help? How can I help? And you want to donate and you want to give and you want to give and you want to donate. And that's cool. I'm not saying not to do that. That's harm reduction, right? And being an even better ally or an accomplice would be to say, okay, hold on. What do they actually need? Right. And then not making that decision for them, but going to them and including them in the conversation. Hey, we want to help. What do y'all actually need? Right. Like, what is it that would help you, not just today, but tomorrow, down the line, future generations? And then let them tell you. And then including them in the actual solutions part, right? In the actual fixing part of it. So not just donating, but saying, oh, you guys need people that can teach you how to do X, or, oh, you guys have those skills. You just need this. Okay. That's what centering and being a good ally looks like, as opposed to just donating things, because those donations will run out. You have a finite supply of donations, as opposed to teaching them.
Yeah. I wanted to say too, speaking to that, what you just said, I do think that you have a lot of different organizations out there. Some of them that are helpful, some of them that you don't always know where your funds go. But I think some of the organizations, especially some of the ones that you get to see on TV that are asking for money and things like that, they allow people to feel like they're doing something, to feel
Mm.
like they're helping. But like you said, you don't know that what you're paying for is actually going, what you're sending is actually going towards what the people that you think you're helping actually need.
Yeah,
Um,
but a lot of them don't care, because it's not actually about if they're getting help. It's about what they've done, right? It's
yeah.
about what they've not just appeared to do, but feeling good. Because anybody, I think almost anybody who's done any amount of community service knows that, like, when you do community service, it does feel good, right? Like,
Mhm.
there can be a self-serving aspect to doing community service, because it can feel good to be like, I helped somebody, right? I think that's how most. I'm sort of assuming that's how most people feel. It feels good to help somebody else, and so yeah, I agree. I agree, right? Like, you can't just. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I guess is the bottom line. I don't think I need to elaborate
Also,
any
I
further.
wanted to add this because you made me realize that there's a very simple, also really good example of people that did that. Some of the people that were more that felt like they were allies, but all at one point, but then heard that Black Lives Matter, and even though they felt like they were allied with Black people, went, well, all lives matter. And I'm not talking about the ones on the other side that were just saying that maliciously, but that's a great example because it's like, well, sure, but you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think I have a hard time believing most people, like, that many people didn't understand that. uh but I think that goes back to, like, the inherent implicit biases that people have, right? I think if
Mhm.
somebody else would have said that about anything else but Black people, people would not have been confused. But I think even the people who were genuinely confused, I think that was a result of implicit bias.
Mhm.
The other thing, the other example I was going to give, because Kimmy actually made a great comment, and I always forget to say this, but it is trying to put it on the screen. Man, the internet glitching is really messing us up.
Oh,
But
it
Kimmy
was up.
says the red. Okay, my bad. Is it still up? Oh, I think I accidentally took it down.
I just put it back up.
Okay. Well, I think we're both messing with it. Here, let me just don't touch. Let me. Is it up?
Okay.
Let me know
Yeah,
when you can see it. Is
it's
it
up.
up?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Kimmy says the Red Cross says double red cell donations can be used to treat blood disorders. Actually, I don't know. double red cells. I don't know what that is. I don't 100% trust the Red Cross, but I was putting this up because let me finish. It says, I don't know the extent to which it helps, but there's a national blood shortage, so anyone who can donate should. Yes. I don't know about the double red cell donation things. I'm not 100% sure on that. And like I said, I don't fully trust the Red Cross. That does not mean that's incorrect. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not vouching for that. What I am saying is that blood donation, blood and plasma, but absolutely blood donation is so helpful for a lot of us with chronic illnesses, not just sickle cell, but with sickle cell being a blood disorder, it is incredibly helpful. A lot of people with sickle cell get transfusions on a very regular basis, blood transfusions on a regular basis. It is something that keeps them healthy because there is an issue with our red blood cells. They are sick. They are, sickle cell. Our red blood cells are shaped like sickles. That's actually why it's called sickle cell, but that's why this, never mind. Anyways, the point is, if you can donate blood, donate it. If you can't, I get it. Also, if you can't, you don't have to tell us. I think a lot of people, when we say like donate blood, will be like, I can't. I wish I could, and they give us as long. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I get it. I can't donate blood either. I can't donate my organs. I get it. It's okay. But if you can, please do. If you know people who can, encourage them to do it. That's all I want to say about that. Okay, so performative allyship. I think we've talked about that enough. Oh, and the reason that came up is because I was about to give this example of when I was doing more sickle cell advocacy. I was invited to this meeting by a pharmaceutical company, by Ironwood Pharmaceuticals. They have a different name now, or like a subsidiary company now, and I can't remember the name of it. But I was invited along with some other advocates to this meeting where they were basically telling us, hey, looking for finding a cure for sickle cell is now profitable because we know enough about gene therapies, and the technology has advanced enough that we can start looking for a potential cure, and now it's profitable. So this is what we're thinking. But luckily, we had an actually solid ally on Ironwood Pharmaceuticals team, whatever, I guess, who knew better enough to say, hey, let's not make assumptions about what they actually need in terms of treatment, right? In terms of the medication, let's ask the community what they need. And so they brought a group of us advocates into up to Boston, I believe, and said, hey, this is the technology, this is where we're at, but we really want to know what you want us to focus on, because we thought we should be focusing on this and this. And sure enough, most people there said, oh, no, not that. That's actually, yeah, that would be great if we could fix that, but that's definitely not the priority. The priority is actually this and this. And trust me, we hear this from other people in the community. We hear this when we go to conventions and conferences, and they said, oh wow, okay, we didn't even think that would be a priority. But see, that's what happens when you include the people who should be included, right? Kimmy was talking about, we mentioned earlier in the live that, and we're about to get into the creator spotlight right here. So again, if you're on Instagram and you're not on YouTube, we're going to be shutting off Instagram in just a second. But there was, if you've ever heard of like the gloves that these boys from MIT created for like, I think they're called like sign gloves or something. And the point is that, like, I guess people who know ASL would be able to sign. So the deaf people would be able to sign with the gloves, and then it would speak out what they're saying, right? And so they got all this news and all this attention because they're, oh my God, this is going to be amazing for the deaf community. And immediately people in the deaf community were like, that's a goofy idea. That's a terrible idea. That's for so many reasons, it's a terrible idea. Like, it puts the onus on deaf people. It's a one-way conversation. So now you know what we're saying, but we still can't hear you. Like, learn sign language. That's the actual solution, right? Like, and there's some technology since then that is a lot better, but it was developed by deaf people, right? So like, there are very real world implications for like being good allies. Same thing with like Google. I think Google does a pretty good job with accessibility, but it's because they've invited people with actual disabilities, actual blind people, in to help their technology to make it better and things of that nature. So yeah, so speaking of deaf creators, shall we hop on into the creators that we want to spotlight tonight before we get out of here?
Heck yeah, sounds good. Let's go. Let's see. Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just
Okay, I was making sure because I couldn't hear
You
me
got one
for a
right.
second. Yeah, yeah. All right. So,
Oh yeah, I got you.
okay, go ahead. All right. So it looks like there's a couple. There are a couple people that we wanted to highlight. Oh, excuse me. Like Small said, one of the first being
It was more than a couple, but
yeah, yeah. One of the first being Bient artist. It looks like with Gallows X Bient. I hope I'm saying that
So
correctly.
okay, so
Do you know how it's pronounced?
do you have it pulled up? No, you're not. But do you have it pulled up?
Uh, the Are we talking about the YouTube itself?
The link for Beyond for Gallows. Do you have it pulled up? Or Kenny,
No.
can you pull up the? It's on the outline. It's hyperlinked. Gallows by Beyond Singh. If you could pull that up. So Beyond is an artist. Like I said, I low key want to call it a bit of a historian, but I don't know if that's a proper thing to do. But you know me, I'm always upgrading people's titles. But Beyond is an artist and also has a TikTok page where he does a lot of like Punjabi history and like Sikh history, and it's really really dope. That's how we found out about Judy Singh, an Afro Punjabi singer back in the day. I think like the 50s or whatever. And so I would recommend you follow Beyond from that, and his handle is beyond.artist, but on TikTok, and I believe he's also on Instagram. And so when I said, hey, I would like to showcase some of your music because it's dope, what would you like us to show? He sent us Gallows, and so that's what we're gonna play for you guys today as soon as it is ready. Um, and I think Beyond also is on the Discord too. So if you want to holler at Beyond and talk to him about his music, highly recommend. Um, and we're also going to be doing some music things too. I don't think we talked about that, but we got some music things coming up in terms of upcoming content. We're going to be doing some music related things because there's a lot of parallels there too, between Punjabi culture and Black American culture, and borrowing. And I was doing hip hop fusion music at one point, which is like think hip hop with world music, like Indian
Mhm.
classical or Afro beats or something like that, but throw a dope 808 on it and a dope bass line. It's dope. So we're gonna be getting into some of that, but yeah, somebody stop me know when you're ready. When somebody's got
It's
that ready to
ready.
show.
Oh, we're doing it at regular speed.
Yeah, because it's music. So
When truth brings us to the gallows, everything these man say gonna sound so hollow. Simon says so, my man follows, and I can't help but feel so paro. My options looking all so narrow, can't process the sharks and shallows. Light seems far when I'm in the shadows, my stories are only the harrowed. Taking the high road, hands on the Bible. For me, cause I'm gripping a rifle, filling the cycle, breaking the circle. Can't keep us down with the papers and titles. Slam was ours before arrival. Can't pretend cause you'll be liable. 5 for 10 and more cause my folks raise the mental like lipos. Bring me the colour of those I keep close to me cause this red we bleed. Play your red like it's blood season. They take heads for no clear reason. Rocks and high places we be in. Got that pulse when my heart's beating. Rat race, run. Nah, it's all lies and illusion. Timing improving, everybody's boosting. That's their choosing. Stay cruising cause reality is losing. Needles abusing, life ain't improving. I know it's confusing. The name with students, but learning is burning. And the fires don't tame. Once the blaze is a mess in the place, that ash it lasts and it don't come back. What's gone is gone and we're left with scraps. And everybody still wanna chase for that. Pose on the floor and they're paying for food. Must see but he ain't got shoes. Pose on the floor and they're paying for food. Must see but he ain't got shoes. Rat race, run.
ooh, that was nasty.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah, I
shit, that
liked
was
it a
nasty.
lot.
I hadn't heard the whole thing, so I had only heard like part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to make sure it played, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be like make sure it was like legit or whatever. Oh, that was nasty. I fuck with
So
that.
I want to say this real quick too. One of the things that me and Smalls have definitely bonded over was Smalls being one herself anyway. Love a good lyricist. So anytime I hear a good lyricist, you get some good bars in there. I just start smiling because I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, it brings me to life. And okay, I see what you did right there. I love it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I keep my expectations low when I'm listening to a new artist. I keep them low, low. I mean, low, low, right? And so, and still with keeping my expectations low, I think it still takes a lot to impress me, right? Because my faves are like I'm like my favorite one of my favorite lyricists is Lauryn Hill, but I also like Black Thought. Like I'm talking about like that's the type of like Queen Latifah, MC Light, like those are the hip hop artists that I really because I did not grow up on hip hop music. Contrary to popular belief, I think people think that if you are a Black American, you must have just grown up on hip hop. No, hip hop was started in 1979. um well before I was born, but also I didn't grow up listening to hip hop. I grew up listening to jazz and blues and like Motown music and things like that. And so I didn't get into hip hop until I was like 14, 15. And so as a result, I was able to like go back and kind of do research, and I kind of like hyper fixated on hip hop and really fell in love with it. And so a lot of my favorite artists were not modern artists of the time, right? Like they were like I said, MC Light, Queen Latifah, a lot of old school artists and Black Thought. And then I was in like the underground music scene in New Orleans. So I'm saying all that to say that I am actually impressed. And if I was not, then y'all wouldn't have heard me say anything. I'd have just been like, that is lovely. Okay, next artist, right? But I am actually genuinely impressed. Like the lyrics, the flow, the rhythm, the cadence, the way he was able to ride the beat, like I fuck with it. The way he was playing with the rhyme scheme, like a lot of people don't even they, like the most basic artists will just do your straight A B rhyme, or they will do something worse and not even have a legit rhyme scheme that doesn't make sense. Yo, Beyond, that was fire. That was dope. Can we play it again?
By chance, where's he from?
Somewhere in the UK, bro. I don't know.
I thought so.
I mean,
I got an opinion. I
wait, what
feel
do you mean?
like
Wait, so you didn't already know? You didn't already know he was from the UK? You couldn't hear his accent?
I was pretty sure, and I got an
Oh, okay.
opinion that would upset some folks, but I'm gonna share it anyway. And it's because
Say
I found a love
controversial
for
yet brave.
UK hip hop, and I think in a lot of ways from the things that I've been hearing, but versus what's coming out in the States, I think the UK hip hop, I think they're killing it. I think that a lot of it's way better
Wait,
than what's playing over here.
what's the thing that people weren't gonna like?
There
That you
is
like
a
UK music?
there. No, I was about to. People aren't going to like that. I think that it's better right now because there is an argument.
Oh, like
People
better
over
than
here,
US hip hop?
yep, people over
Oh, I
here
see.
like
I
to
see.
say that UK rap is trash, and I totally disagree. I've heard a lot more. I feel like a lot more. It's a lot more refreshing. People are still telling stories. A lot of these artists are hungry. I think it's better
You know,
right
you
now.
know what I think? So I generally don't love UK hip hop. I do generally. I won't say it's trash, but I do generally think like, oh, that was cute. That's okay. I mean, lovely. There's not a lot of artists I listen to. I have collaborated with an artist from the UK. She was dope. Oh, what is the name of the song? I can't remember the name of the song. Maybe we'll play it one day. But I generally don't think that UK hip hop is that fantastic. What I've heard, I don't generally think that what I've heard from UK hip hop has been great. However, I have heard some phenomenal shit from the UK, like phenomenal. What I think is, how like when how you can take for granted something that's like yours, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what's happening in the US, like because it was started because hip hop was started here in the US in New York. I think a lot of people are just taking it for granted. I mean, I don't think we don't teach it in schools, right? So like in the same way like you would with like jazz or classical, and you kind of have I don't think that it should be gate kept necessarily, or maybe I do, I don't know. But like because it's not taught in schools, because we don't like, unlike tattooing, right? You want to be a tattoo apprentice, you go through this sort of like hazing process almost, but you also go through this apprenticeship that makes you really appreciate the craft and the art. We don't really have that for oh snap, my thing's about to die. We don't really have that for hip hop, and I really think we should. And so I think that's why a lot of like US hip hop is just gone to the dogs, and it's just like so subpar these days. It is just not great. But I don't think the UK hip hop has generally been amazing, but I think that they take it a lot more seriously than we do, especially now. And I think this is a prime example. I also love the lyric video. I love the people that he included in it. I love the look of it. It was fire. He's somebody that I would have, if I was still doing music, he's somebody I would have collaborated with easy, easy. And I don't say that about a lot of people, but like he's dope. He's dope. Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's go through some of these other creators and then come back to that because I want to play that again, and then maybe we can
Okay,
play some more
bet,
music.
bet.
I don't know. You want to play some of your poetry, Ray?
I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet.
All right, all right, all right. So, Kimmy, let's do it like this. Kimmy, can you pull up like a window for Instagram, and so that way we can look at some of these artists or whatever. And let me see if I can make a layout for. I'm gonna do it like that, and that'll be because what I want to show is like just some of their Instagram profiles. And so if you can just go down the list, and then we'll talk a little bit about each of them. And then Ray, where's did you add some folks to this list?
I added one, yes. They're actually in our community as well.
Where I don't see the name.
That would be
What letter
number
is it?
E.
E. Okay, cool. Um, all right, yeah, okay. So we did Beyond. So let's do actually let's skip B, Kimmy. Let's go straight to C and then yeah, pull up that one and then I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about we'll tell you guys a little bit about each creator that we think you guys should be following. These are folks that we think that, you can be in community with, whether you guys know each other or not, whether you have a what's it called? A parasocial relationship, whatever. I don't know all these people personally, but I have learned a great deal from all of these people. And I think that they are doing enough online. They are doing enough with their talent and their skills to for folks to learn something. So, maybe you're not in community with black people or black women in real life. Excuse me, not in real life, offline. But here's another way to be in community with these folks in real life, online. And then let me see. Kimmy, let me know when you're ready. You just got the first one pulled up. Actually, I just realized I can probably share because we don't need audio. So, although it'd be great to play some audio. Let me see if I can pull it up. Is there a search feature on? Yes, there is. Wait. This is somebody I did not add, and his page pulled right up, and I really want to show y'all his page. Remember when I was talking before about like the Romani people, and I said they were some of the first people to be enslaved, and the G slur, you remember the girl who just got out of jail, G Rose, and her first name is technically a slur, and it's a slur against the Romani people. And I was saying there's a Romani creator who does like advocacy work and education and talks about history and culture and Romani culture. Do you remember that, Ray?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I found his page. I couldn't remember his handle at the time, but I found it. Let me see. While Kimmy's working on that, let me see if I can share this. It's gonna want me to share my entire screen, or fuck it, I don't care right now. Or do I care? Maybe I do care. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me make it separate.
I was waiting for your favorite joke. Right about nothing popping up back there.
Yeah, I always make the joke like, "Hey, if you see something on my screen, don't worry about it." But I couldn't even do it this time. Oh, come on. Okay, Kimmy's got Julesy pulled up now. So let's. Oh dear. I forgot. It's not. It's the web version. It's kind of cropped. Okay. Well, that's fine for now. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is Julesy. Okay. Now I can't. Where did I meet? Okay. I don't know if I'm not allowed to tell y'all where we met, because at the time when I first met Julesy, I wasn't allowed to say where we knew each other because we were working together. So I don't know if I'm still allowed. I have a feeling at this point she doesn't give a damn. But because of me, I'm a vault. I do not have permission yet, but I will just say we worked together, and we worked together in the Northeast. This is when I was in Delaware. I moved to Delaware because it was close to Philly, close to New York, and I was doing music at the time. And so let me tell you about Julesy. Julesy has I don't know what you call it, a program. It's called Smart Brown Girls. Okay. And and I'm laughing just because like it's very different from the content that she started off doing. I think she was doing like natural hair stuff at the beginning, and now she's just taught me so much, like so much. She's got a book club. She's got I want to show you guys this shirt. Ray, you're gonna have to take over so I can show them this shirt that I got from the Smart Brown Girl Club or whatever. She's got a website. It's called Smart Brown Girl. But if you want to have real conversations, whether it's about like, I've heard hypergamy is one that she talks about a lot, but she talks a lot about a lot of things that deal with Black women and Black women in the U.S. and society, but then also Black women across the diaspora. If you're talking about you want to expand your horizons, you want to grow your community, you want to learn from Black people, without demanding labor of them, right? This is a good way to do it by following, diversify who you follow online. And Julesy, I believe, is an amazing creator to follow. She's so educated. She's well read. I always get great book recommendations from her. She's got a Patreon that you can subscribe to. And so yeah, we're not gonna spend too much time on each person. Kimmy, can you scroll a little bit? You can kind of see like some of the content that she has here, whether it's again relationships. She talks a lot about relationships, but she also talks about you know no, never mind, because I'll get too deep into the weeds. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds. But yeah, let's go to let's see the next person. Is that Chadwick Boseman? Oh, y'all, I love me some Chadwick Boseman, man. Let's go to the next one. Actually, Kim, if you don't already, can you pull up Can you pull up Ray's edition? The I am Numdev. Oh, that's I didn't know he was a creator. I know who you're talking about. He's a sick.
That's correct. Yeah, and I was highlighted mostly because a lot of the what he does put up right now has a lot to do with a lot of his dance and everything else that he's doing. So he's been working on a lot of different things, and I thought that he was good representation because he has definitely been putting a lot of his dance routines and everything else that's going up. And because he was a member of the community, it's the biggest reason I was like, all right, well, let's create it. Let's add him because if you go to his Instagram or anywhere else following him, you can see a lot of what he's putting up currently. Fabulous dancer. I actually have been. I originally came across him because he followed Black and Sick. And so with following Black and Sick, I try to follow everybody back. I hate the idea of following certain, I'd say, following certain people that I feel like, I guess, even if they haven't grown that much, sometimes they feel like they're too big for a follow back. Granted, I get it sometimes because maybe they're trying to manage what they're seeing in the news feed. But anyway, I do try to follow back when people do follow me. And so I did follow back. I also found that this person was not far from, lived far from where I live. So I'm like, awesome. This is an opportunity for me to get in community with someone else that's in our community, but it's also doing some awesome work. Like their dance, like again, awesome dancer, definitely somebody worth communicating with online because they're very supportive of the project. And yeah, I definitely say check out what they're doing.
Dope. Yeah, I knew that he was a sick. I did not realize that he was a creator or an artist or creator online. That's pretty dope. Gonna have to check out some of his stuff. I already follow him, but I'm not on social media like talking about it like that. So but yeah. All right. So the next person, whenever you got it ready, Kimmy, we're good to go. Who we got? Oh, one of my faves. One of my faves. All right. Can you zoom? Are you able to zoom in a little bit, Kimmy, on yours? Yeah, a little bit. There you go. There you go. All right. So Halise, and I'm gonna put her handle in. I'm gonna put her handle in the chat. I believe that's correct. It is. There we go. Halise.mp4, which I thought was pretty clever. Man, where to start with Halise? She's a producer, she's a video creator, she's a filmmaker. I mean, so dope. Deacon Fatal was good. It's good to have you here. VJ, what's up? Appreciate y'all being here. Halise, okay. One of my favorite producers. I've learned so much from her. I woke up early to join her town hall on Monday so that I could ask her questions related to Black and Sick. Somebody I absolutely look up to and admire, and I've been following and I've been supportive of since day one. Now, mind you, I'm supportive of all Black folks and of all Black women, especially by default. Like that's just my default stance. Like you gotta F up for me to not rock with you, right? So as soon as I came across her content, and I think I found her because of Evelyn from the internet. I'm not sure. That's another really, really dope creator that I love. But Halise, okay. She's got what does she say? Endeavoring to persevere. I forget her slogan. Of course I forget it now. But the whole idea is basically doing your best with what you got right now, right? Like making something out of the chaos. Like and I love how encouraging she is. She's doing a trip recently. I think they're going to Costa Rica. So she's like sponsoring a trip, taking a bunch of Black people to Costa Rica. That's going to be pretty dope. And folks are going to get to travel. And I recommend following her, whether you are a filmmaker, an aspiring filmmaker or not. If you just want to learn about the biz, if you want to learn about the behind the scenes stuff, she does stuff for Adobe. Let me put it like this. Halisa's content and who she is as a person, as a producer, as a content creator is the reason that Black and Sick exists right now. Right. Because we have been talking about Black and Sick for a minute. We've been talking about we want to do this, we want to do this. But again, it's not a project, it's not a one person project, not at least the goals that we had for it. And we really want to do it right. It's not a one person project. And it was a big undertaking. And so I had a lot of imposter syndrome about it. The goal was for me to like get it up and running and then like get other people involved and then me kind of like slowly dip away, right? Which is not what has happened. But it's because of her content and who she is and like being so open. I mean, she talks about everything, like her income, right? She will sit there and do the math with you and say, I made this much this year. I made this much, blah, blah, blah. This is where we got this. We got this funding from here. I mean, she tells you everything. She lays it all out on the line, and also talks about some deeper points. She has a husband and they have a podcast that's also really dope. That I don't always get to check it out, but I have all of them in my watch later list, right? She's was an Adobe creative resident. So if you know anything about Adobe Creative Cloud and Adobe and their platforms, she does work for them. She just put out a video for them about transitions. I mean, she's just phenomenal. And as a Black woman, I can't tell you how much I appreciated seeing another dark-skinned Black woman, especially with locks, right? Somebody who's always had locks, but locks have not always been in the mainstream media. I cannot tell you how much I appreciated just seeing her, and then to find her and find out that she was just uber talented and smart, like genius level smart. Man, I highly recommend following Halise. She will always be on my creator spotlight list. All right, next up. She's got some stuff coming out too. She's got a web series with Evelyn from the internet. It's called This Could Have Been an Email. It's pretty funny. And you want to talk about making sure people get paid for their labor. She's the epitome of that. And she's got some other projects coming up that are pretty dope. Okay. Now, are you familiar with Sick? No, this is not the right one. Nope. Wait, nope. I don't think this is the right one. All good. Let's go to my bad. I meant to tell you that we were skipping that one. Just go down from go to Cat Black, and then we're gonna just go down from that one. Halise knows El Fresh though. I think she did a project with El Fresh. Ray, have you ever heard of El Fresh, the Sick artist? Nope, I don't think Ray can hear me. While we're waiting for the next one to come up, y'all look at this shirt. Look at this shirt.
I was muted.
Can you see this shirt? This shirt is fire. It looks like a hip hop, like a rap album cover or whatever, but it's actually Audre Lorde, right? And it says, what does it say? I think it says your silence will not protect you. But your silence will not protect you. Which, if you know anything about Audre Lorde, you know. I'll show you a couple books that I recommend by her. But she's a really dope revolutionary, one of my faves. She's got some like this for Toni Morrison, a couple other really, really dope people. Nice. Audre Lorde, if you don't know Audre Lorde.
Okay. And I popped back in. I heard what you said, but I was muted and didn't know it. You know how goofy we are. But I actually hadn't heard of who you mentioned before. No.
Oh, you hadn't heard of El Fresh?
No, I had not. No.
Oh, I know where it's at. I was like, where's my other Audre Lorde book? I could not find it. But this is another book I recommend. This isn't the first Audre Lorde book that I recommend, but it is a good one. Zami, Another Spelling of My Name. I think it's called A New Spelling of My Name. My bad. She calls it a biomythography. I don't know. It's like part autobiography, part fiction. I don't know. It's a pretty cool book. Highly recommend. But the one that I really recommend is Sister Outsider. If you get a chance to read Sister Outsider, and it's an easy, good read because it's like a collection of essays. So you can just read an essay or something and then put it down, and read an essay and put it down. So it's a quicker read. Really deep, really dope. What's happening here? What's going on? Something's wrong.
Looks like
Cat Black, I think is cat.black. Let me see if I can find it.
As long as I was on it as well, but I don't see.
Nope, it's not. I can't remember what it is. Did she change it? Oh, it
Um,
might be cat underscore black or something. It's like it's cat something black. Hold on. Oh, it's not that cat black. Okay.
I wonder
If you
because you
if you
remember.
log, I found it's right here. If you log into the Kimmy, if you I don't if you're not logged into the Black and Sick Instagram, these are a lot easier to find because we're following all of these people. But I got it right here. So that's that. Let me see. Who do you follow online, Ray? You don't follow any people of color?
To be quite honest with you, because I do, but to be quite honest with you, I am, as far as online stuff goes, there's a couple of, I guess I'd say there's a couple people for comedy that I follow, but most of my stuff is like gaming, and yeah, that's for
Hmm.
the most part. And then I think there's
Sounds like you need to diversify your community too, then.
Yeah, honestly, because and I would say a lot of times I don't find a lot of time to watch as much as I would like to, but there is a creator that I watch that does a black creator that I watch that does reviews of things, but also does like cosplay and stuff like that. I happen to follow her, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of people that I really just follow on Instagram. Then it's a bunch of cats and dogs and stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right. So, on are we still live? I meant to end this. If you're on Instagram right now, I would suggest joining us over on YouTube because we are ending this right now. Okay. So Cat Black. Cat Black, another reason for Black and Sick existing. For those who don't know the story, I'll tell it right quick. She was doing a series called Just So You Know, and she was looking for people to talk about to share stories or experiences at sort of like at the intersection, like things that sort of intersect. Like whether you were Christian and something else, or gay, like gay and Christian, or something and something. And I said, oh, somebody should do like Black and Sick. And so I reached out to a couple people and I said, hey, Cat Black is doing this thing. You should go get interviewed by Cat Black. And everybody was like, that is a good idea. No, thank you. And I was like, oh, okay. So like everybody I reached out to was like, that's a great idea, but I don't want to be on camera. And I was like, yeah, I don't either. So what is going to happen? So finally I just reached out to her and I said, okay, this is what we got. I'm Black, I'm sick, I'm disabled, I'm queer. Like, I don't know if you'd be interested. And she said yes. So I did the interview. The interview was great. And it went, I mean, she was a really phenomenal interviewer, by the way. Super phenomenal. And I absolutely embarrassed myself at the end of the interview, but it's okay. She's just one of the best interviewers I've had the pleasure of being interviewed by. And I've had a few. And so the video came out. I wasn't sure how it was going to be received. I was actually really, really worried. I was like, did I say something wrong? Did I mess up? But it was received really, really well. Of course, you have, people who are whack, but for the most part, there was a lot of good reception. Well, what we found from that was that every Black Sick who was online at the time started getting a bunch of questions from other people, but from other Black people who were interested in Sicky. Like, we all just kind of just started getting a bunch of questions because of that video. So it was like they would see the video, and then if they could find a Black Sick online, like on Instagram or something, I don't even know if TikTok was a thing then. They just started with, hey, can I ask you a question? Hey, I was thinking about Sicky. Can I ask you a question? And so the more we started talking to each other, the more we realized we needed a space for Black Sicks to be in community with each other, but also to get information, things that we wish we had when we were looking up Sicky and stuff. And so that's really how Black and Sick, how the idea came to be. Because of the interview that we did with Cat Black. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's on the YouTube channel right now. Yeah. Were you
I can
already familiar with Cat Black?
I most definitely was. I've been following Cat Black for years, and I can say this too. I mentioned before, one of the, of course, the first Black Sick that I came across, of course, was Surma. But and aside from that, my first time seeing anyone else, and basically my first time seeing you, was the Cat Black video. So
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that happened to a lot of people where people saw the video and then were like, "Hey, this is what I've been looking for." Similar to how like I started doing search and I found Sorma. Sorma was the first person I found, but his videos aren't up anymore. And unfortunately, the whole video isn't up anymore. But we do react to it, and so if you do want to see parts of it or whatever, you can see it. It's just our reaction is included to that, like Sorma and I. So that's that. Now I'm ready for the next one, Kimmy.
Natalie Lawyer Chick. Is that next? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got yeah, we're gonna get into LawTube now. I don't know how Cat Black ended up under LawTube, but it doesn't matter. I don't know why I was about to edit it. Uh Let me go back to StreamYard. Oh yeah, okay. Natalie Lawyer Chick, bet. We're getting into LawTube now. So again, like I said, when I see black women, I follow, I subscribe, like just immediately off bat. Like unless I see something that's like, oh nope, this is not a good idea. Like there are a number of them that are like really super Christian, and then, like the bio will say something like Jesus lover or like Jesus first or like Jesus, and I'll be like, oh okay, this is not a safe space for me. And again, it's not because I have anything against Christianity. I just don't want to deal with any triggers or religious trauma or anything like that. So but Natalie Lawyer Chick is not one of those people. She is agnostic or atheist. I can't remember which one. I think atheist. But she does a lot of great stuff. You can kind of see some of her videos right now. Kimmy, if you can scroll a little bit, you can see some of the type of content that she covers. And she covers things that are not always going to be the most popular, right? Like things related to Darius Cooks. I don't know if you guys know Darius Cooks, whatever. That's something that was pretty specific to the Black community, but she covered it anyway, even though it's not going to have a lot of content. Kimmy, can you scroll a little bit on her channel? I don't know if you see. Yeah. So she's got some shorts and some other type of content. She mostly goes live. She doesn't do a lot of pre-recorded stuff, but she goes live. Her live streams are dope. I always end up having to catch them later, but then I watch on 2x speed and I love them. Her most recent one is really good. She's got one, or not the most recent one. Well, that one's really good too, but the one I was thinking of was the one with it says monsters on the thumbnail, about Ruby, Frankie, and Jody Hildebrandt with the 8 passenger stuff, the stuff we talked about last week, Ray. And she talks a little bit about religion there. It was just what kind of made me think like we should invite her on the channel, see if she'll come talk to us, hang out with us. But she said something. Anyways, she's got great commentary on that one. She brought on Dr. Patrice Berry, she's a Black woman psychologist who breaks down a lot of these cases, and gives, kind of the psychology similar to what we did when we had Boss Attorney Bree on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of gave us like the legal angle. Dr. Patrice Berry does that with psychology, and Natalie Lawyer Chick does that with law and legal things.
So. Okay. See, now you got me started, and you got me realizing that I actually did know a couple and do follow a couple more. I just don't think about it because I just follow their content.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we'll wait for the next one here. The next one is, I think, somebody that we all know and love. Somebody we all know. Yeah, there we go. Boss Attorney Bree. Shout out to the Bree Hive. If y'all don't know Boss Attorney Bree. What?
Oh, no, I was just going, who's that girl? That's what came to my mind.
What was I about to say? Oh, Natalie Lord, I'm all thrown off now. Boss Attorney Bree is also from the Bay Area. Well, no, that's a lie. I'm sorry. She's not from the Bay Area. She's from Northern California. Let me say that. She's not from the Bay. She's from just outside the Bay Area. If I say she's from the Bay Area and then folks find out where she's really from, they're going to have my head. I apologize, Bay Area. She's from Northern California, though. So she still counts. I still welcome her as a fellow NorCal girl. So, yeah, Boss Attorney Bree. A lot of we're there every Tuesday and Thursday. You should join us. Kimmy is also a moderator over there. Deacon Fatal, who I think was in the chat just recently, and myself and Tanya D and like Chelsea. Like we got a good number of moderators. We've got a good number of people who join the chat. It's a good time, bro. Like we be having a good time in there. We talk about like legal stuff. Like we talked about this Diddy stuff recently. Where we talked about all kind of stuff. The Cassie stuff. We talked about, of course, I'm blanking now, but we cover all types of the lawsuit. I don't know if you guys heard about the Lauren the Mortician lawsuit with the attorney who's gone rogue. Her name is Jeanette, but people keep calling her Janet now, clowning her. She filed like this really wild, frivolous lawsuit. Is bananas. We have a good time over there. So Boss Attorney Bree is another one we highly recommend you guys check out. Ray, anything? Will we go to the next one? No?
Yeah, we can go ahead and go on over to the next one.
All right, bet. All right, this is Tyler Cho. Oh God, you know what? It might be Chow. It's Tyler Chow because and I'm saying that because I always want to say Cho, but then every time I hear it, I'm like, oops, I always mess it up. So I think it's Tyler Chow, the creator's attorney. She was formerly called the Hollywood attorney, but she is also the creator's attorney. She kind of blew up when she did a video on the Try Guys. Did you hear about what happened with the Try Guys, Ray? When they had the whole Ned Fulmer scandal, or no, Ray's not an internet kid. Well,
I believe that someone that I follow briefly touched on them because the Try Guy sounds very familiar, and I do remember something about some scandal.
I can't believe he's never heard of the Try Guys. Okay, so anyway, the Try Guys was this. We're not. I'm not going to go into that, but that's kind of how she blew up. She covered a video by the Try Guys. The way the Try Guys handled the Ned Fulmer BS was phenomenal. I mean, I'm saying this as like an advocate, as somebody who does like social justice type work, but also as somebody who was former in publicity, public relations. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was authentic. It was genuine. They did the right thing. There was an issue with, it wasn't just like a cheating scandal. So people was like, why did they care? Because it was a cheating scandal. No, he had an affair with an employee. There's a power dynamic there. It was problematic in a lot of ways, and they handled it perfectly. And Tyler Chow agrees with me and said so. And that's kind of how she blew up. That's how I found her. And I've been following her content ever since. And she actually transitioned. She's worked for Disney and a whole bunch of other people. That's why she was called the Hollywood attorney for a second. But she now represents creators. And I was like, oh, that's my goal, to be represented by Tyler Chow one day. I hope that we get to a point where if we need an attorney, Tyler got us. Maybe not Tyler. Maybe we do need to talk to boss attorney Bree though about like some of the trademark stuff. Remember, Ray? So, anyways, Tyler Chow would be another one. I highly recommend. And again, this is what I mean when I say like diversify, right? Like we're not just recommending Black people. We're not just recommending a certain group of people, not just sick people or South Asian or Punjabi people. Diversify your community. The more that you are in community with these people, the more that you are interacting with these people, the more that you can learn, the more that you can do better. Yeah. Next up.
Let's see there. Perfect. Okay. All right.
Where are we? My bad. I was on the wrong window. Okay. So this is Raven. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Raven was on. Raven is a deaf creator who does like some deaf advocacy work. And if I'm not mistaken, Raven was on some type of reality show. I don't watch it, so I don't really know. No, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where a lot of people know her from. I was following her from just like her advocacy work, just being online. Like again, when I was decided I'm going to relearn sign language, I just started following a bunch of creators who sign, because again, the more you immerse yourself, the better. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So she's somebody that I would highly recommend. We always recommend that if you're going to learn ASL, learn from somebody who is deaf or hard of hearing. If you are going or somebody who is certified to teach, and has a connection to the deaf community. So even if that's a CODA, which is a child of a deaf adult, don't just learn from any CODA. You want to learn from a CODA who is like certified, educated, properly trained to teach. Right. Just because they're an interpreter doesn't mean they're an educator. Just because they're an educator doesn't mean they're an interpreter. Just because, you know what I'm saying? Just because they're deaf doesn't mean they're an interpreter. All these things. So we are being mindful of who we are recommending in the community and what, the reasons that we're recommending them. But Raven is somebody that we highly recommend. I think Ray, can you read their handle, their Instagram handle?
Let me see.
It's right there at the top of the page. There it is. BlueJ19XX. Thanks, Kimmy, because I could not see it that far away. That's Raven. All right. Next up, we're going to read a couple comments too while Kimmy brings up the next one. What do we got? Intersectionality would be wonderful. Big agree. I don't remember what this one was. Deacon Fatal said that's awesome. Atheist, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're talking about Natalie Lawyer Chick, and I think she's atheist as well, which I think is really, really interesting. I love when I hear about, this is probably going to sound counterproductive. People are going to be probably surprised that I'm saying this, but I love when I come across Black people who are atheists or agnostic or of a different religion because, Black Americans specifically, because Christianity was so like forced on us and it really has a chokehold on our community. So I love, because it means not that I love that they don't believe in God, right? Because I absolutely do. And I don't think I could ever like not believe in God. It's not that. It's just that I love that when people question it and they deconstruct and they question the things that they were given at birth or throughout their childhood. And Natalie Lorchick, she talks about it in the video with the stream about Ruby Frankie and 8 Passengers and Jody Hildebrandt. She talks about, some of the trauma that she dealt with because of religion, and the fact that religion was used as a weapon. It was really weaponized against her as against her when she was a child. And so I love when I see Black people, especially, but Black and brown people who have deconstructed, who have questioned and found and decided this isn't for me. Yeah, I respect them a lot for that, because it takes a lot to do that. If I'm
So
sure y'all know.
to that point as well, when I mentioned earlier, because that's a perfect segue. When I mentioned earlier that you made me realize I didn't recognize someone tied into religion, one of the people that I do watch frequently is a channel called JW Thoughts, and it's a ex Jehovah's Witness that happens to be Black, and I absolutely love his content. Watch it regularly because
that's what I mean. Why didn't you put him on the list? That's what I
didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. But it's one of those things for me, because I've always been fascinated with faiths and things like that. I absolutely love hearing his perspective, and he tackles a lot of things that he struggled through dealing with, being in the Jehovah's Witness church. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. If you can remember his handle, you can drop it in the chat. We'll show it on screen. Deacon Fatal says the dude that said he was a good husband and then wasn't. Yeah, that was Ned Fulmer, I believe his name is. He was the wife guy. Like he made his entire personality being and people say that, right? You make your entire personality about being neurodivergent. You make your entire personality about having this. But he really did. Like, he absolutely made his entire personality around, like, so much so that, like, the Try Guys just leaned into it, right? There's 4 different guys. They have different personalities. His was being the wife guy. I love my wife, my wife, my wife. He's talking about his wife all the time. My wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. And meanwhile, this man is having a whole-blown affair with an employee who is younger than him. Are you serious right now? Yeah, that was Ned Fulmer.
Wow.
Just bananas. And that's why I said, yeah, Kimmy Locker said the dude whose whole personality was around being a husband. Exactly. So, and that's why I said that they handled it so well, because they handled, like, the ethical issues, the moral, the moral stuff, but they also handled, like, the legal things. They handled it right. They didn't place blame. They didn't dismiss it. It was great from a PR standpoint too. So much so that SNL spoofed them. That's how big it was. That's why I was kind of surprised. Like, I mean, you're on social media more than me, but, like, that's why I was surprised you hadn't seen it, because SNL spoofed them, and they did a terrible job. They had a horrible take. They totally made it seem like they were just caring because their friend had an affair, which, as if that's not a good enough reason to care. I think more men need to be checking men, so that's a good enough reason anyway. But that is not why he was fired. He wasn't fired for having an affair. He was fired for having an affair with an employee and creating a liability. The Circle on Netflix. Yes, thank you, Kimmy. Kimmy Locker says The Circle on Netflix. This was in regards to Raven, when we said Raven was on a reality TV show. Yeah, that's that. And what else we got? Deacon Fatal saying hi. Kimmy Locker saying hi, Deeks. What else we got? Deacon Fatal says learning ASL is a great skill to have. It is a phenomenal skill to have. I will tell you, this happens anytime I use another language, whether it's signing or like Hindi. I don't know really much Punjabi, so I don't know any Punjabi, to be honest, except the ones that are very specific to Sikhi. But anytime, like, I've used Hindi, like, people are like get really excited. But if you want to see somebody really excited, if you want to feel good for, like, doing good, learn some ASL. Learn a little bit of ASL. I mean, more than just, like, your letters, right? Don't just learn just learn a little bit. Learn enough to hold a decent conversation or ask about the bathroom or point. Learn just a decent amount of ASL and use it for somebody who uses ASL, right? Whether they're deaf or hard of hearing, they will be so excited. 9 times out of 10. Now, every now and then, they might get excited and then clown you behind your back. I have seen that, but that's okay. Every time I've ever used ASL, even if I'm going slow, hey, bear with me. They have been so gracious and so helpful and so excited and so, like, thankful that I've even attempted to use it. So it is a great skill to have. I completely disagree. He was fired for being poo. Yeah, Ned Fulmer was fired for being poo. He was fired for being a... Anyways. Ex-Jehovah's Witness on YouTube. JW Thoughts. Wait. That's their YouTube handle, Ex-Jehovah's Witness, or what's the name of the channel? You're muted if you're talking.
That's correct. That's the name of their YouTube channel.
I mean, which one? Is Ex-Jehovah's Witness their YouTube handle?
Yeah. So it's they go by JW Thoughts, but that's their @ to get them to them on YouTube.
Okay. So yeah, so if you want to search on YouTube, just type in JW Thoughts. That's the name of the channel. If you're going to use the URL, you would do youtube.com/at ex Jehovah's Witness. I believe that
Mhm,
says, yeah.
mhm.
Um, there we go. I didn't know that signs are made in different languages until last year. Yep. Just like spoken language, every region, every area has their own language. And similar to the way that we have AAVE because of slavery, um, there is a such thing as Black Sign Language, which is a result of slavery and segregation because, deaf people existed back then too. And we're not allowed to be in deaf schools and other spaces and organizations and things of that nature. And so they had their own communities. And so they had Black Sign Language. So it is a thing, and it is different than the other ASL. I don't know what to call it, mainstream, whatever, ASL. So yeah, there's British ASL, there's Auslan, which I believe is Australian ASL. There's in French and Italy, they all have their own sign language. Yeah, and to be clear, sign language is not a direct one-to-one to English, right? It is not. I go to the store. I go to like no. It is the grammar is different. The syntax is different. It is its own language. Much like we try to say the same thing about AAVE, and folks don't want to listen. ASL is its own language. It is not just a signed version of English. It is not signed English. There's a such thing as signed English, right? But that is not what ASL is. American Sign Language has its own everything, its own rules, language, grammar, vocab. Here we go. Um, not me about to read this comment. Yep, they're Deacon Kimmy Locker said to Deacon Fado. Yep, they're their own independent languages, and ASL isn't a word-to-word translation of English. It has its own grammar, syntax, etc. Yeah, exactly. Yes, what I just what
Great
Kimmy just
minds. Great
yeah.
minds.
I think it's just because we both know like how people are with ASL, like they just people. It needs to, anyways. What's next? What is this? I can't read that, and I'm not sure who this is. Ray, you want to take this one?
Are you talking about the comments?
No. On the next creator.
Oh, okay. It looks like is that hold on. JT?
Oh, Justina. Okay, I do know this one. Okay, so I couldn't read that far. JT. Okay, yeah, okay. Justina Miles. Justina Miles. Mm, I don't know how much I'm going to get into this, but I will just say JT is an ASL performer. I'm not 100% sure if she's is an interpreter. I don't think she is. I think she's just an ASL performer. And so she performed during the Super Bowl, not this most recent time, I think, but the time before, not this most recent Super Bowl, the one before. And we're gonna dive more into like what's happening with the deaf community and that lawsuit and them trying to take sign away from deaf children and stuff like that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about like the Super Bowl debacle then, because we're actually gonna have Kimmy kind of touch on a little bit more, and then possibly have some deaf folks, some folks from the deaf community, like deaf folks from the deaf community, come on and talk about it a little bit. But yeah, Justina, so dope, so lovely, like amazing performances. If you haven't seen her perform, I believe her pronouns are she, her. Yeah. If you haven't seen her perform, highly recommend. Um, just amazing. And again, ASL performance is not the same thing as interpreting, right? Like you can have an ASL performance where you can be dancing and kind of do it. It's an interpretive sort of type thing. And then you have interpreting, which is really just about accessibility, not entertainment. So just wanted to be clear about that. Let's see. Kimmy Locker says Justina has interpreted for music such as the Super Bowl and miscellaneous concert, but she's not an interpreter. She's a deaf performer. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. I know she did stuff for the Super Bowl, but I did not think that she was an interpreter. But a lot of people mix that up. Will make assumptions when they see deaf or ASL performers. All right, next up. Okay, so Kimmy, I don't know if you want to hop on and tell us about some of these, you can. But if not, I'm just gonna run through them because I don't actually know any of these people except for the very last one, and I can just read like what's here. If you want to hop on, do so and stop me. But I think we got Mia Bella. Is that what we got right now? Yeah. Okay. So Mia LaBella, this is her Instagram page. She's an artist, educator, and entrepreneur. She's got art by Mia LaBella. I don't know how much you want to show, Kimmy. Oh crap, I keep doing that. But yeah, if you want to scroll on her page a little bit, this is dope.
So beautiful pictures.
Yeah, gorgeous pictures. Wow. Is this her art? This looks, oh wow, this is so dope. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Go. There you
Oh
go.
wow.
Oh, Latinx love. Okay, okay. Holy crap. Whoa, this is gorgeous. What does it say right there? In my ear, you're not. Oh crap! In my ear, you're not strong enough to withstand the storm. Today, I whispered in the devil's. Okay, that sounds like yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, her art is amazing. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so this is Mia Labella. Um, if you want. Oh, nice. Art is a creative way to make your soul glow. Mia Labella Gallery. Wow.
So
Wow. I wonder if we can commission some of her work.
if
Go
I
ahead, bro.
might, I was gonna say it means that it's pretty awesome because as a person that's into the arts and all of the arts, the one area that I am a little deficient and not that great in understanding is painting, written art, all of that part of art. So when I look at an art piece, most of the
You
time
mean
I don't
drawing?
get it. Yeah, yeah, or painting or any of this type of
No, you
art.
said written art. I was trying to figure out what written art was.
I mean, like I know performance art, musical art, all of that. Love all of that. When it comes to painting, drawing, any of that kind of stuff, I don't. I most of the time don't get it. So
Gotcha.
for me to look at her art and go, "Dang, that's saying something," because yeah, that stood out to me, and art normally doesn't for me.
Interesting. Okay. Deacon Fatal says her art is wonderful. Nice. Let's see. What does it say? Mia Sanchez has the true grit of a multifaceted individual. She was raised as the only deaf person in her Caribbean American family. Whoa, Caribbean American. Okay. Her deafness and curiosity have led her I think there might be a typo there, have led her to becoming an artist, maybe educator, entrepreneur, humanitarian, and world traveler to this day. Sanchez graduated from Rochester Institute of Technology with her highest degree, Master's of Science in Deaf Education. Dope. Currently, she teaches American Sign Language at Sign Language Center and Ohio State University. Her life passion is to spread awareness about changing the world through the gift of giving. Sanchez believes that art is one of the effective methods to connect with people with diverse backgrounds. To learn more, grab an opportunity. Okay. Explore the website or send an email. Dope. Deacon Fatal says, I want to buy one of her pictures. Yeah, I'm wondering if we can commission some of her art or something, or I might just have to buy some for my gallery wall. For those who don't know, this is gonna be a gallery wall at some point. That's why it looks real random right there. And so I'm waiting. There are two art pieces that we are waiting to get, and then I'm gonna install art around it. So that's why it's so bare right now. But I would love to have some of her art on my wall or just in my home in general. This is really dope. Um okay. Yeah, we can do whichever one you want next, Kimmy. Works for me. All right. Deacon Fatal, how you been? I would consider it abstract. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm no what do you call it? I'm no like expert. I definitely I can't say I don't do visual art at all because I was a photographer for a minute and I do love photography, and that is something I'm somewhat like naturally good at, especially if it's like event photography and outdoors. I like prefer natural lighting. My weakest area is like lighting. Um, but I do love photography and I love visual art, but I don't draw or paint or anything like that. I can paint a little bit, but I really don't draw. So that's the biggest problem. So I don't know if it's abstract or not. So yeah, Deacon Fatal says I would consider it abstract. That's cool. Um, okay, so we got here signing with Nicole, former Miss Deaf Alabama, ASL user, Miss Earth Alabama 2016, deaf scientist. That's fire. That's fire. I love I don't know, let me see. Let's see. This says deaf scientist, motivational speaker, and dancer. Nice. Um, I don't know. Oh, it looks like there's a link there. I don't know if Kimmy's going to show us this link, but it says non-black person versus culturally black ASL sign. If this is what I'm thinking it is, this might be the content that put me on to her. I'm not 100% sure, but Let's see. Oh yeah. We can play it if you got it, Kimmy.
Hi everyone, it's signing with Nicole. Sign in with Nicole. So I got a great question about the general sign for Black and the cultural sign for Black. And if a person who is not Black signs the cultural Black, is that considered a racial slur, or is it equivalent to the N word? That's a great question. The answer is, in my opinion, no. Now, there may be some Black deaf that may feel differently and they may consider it equivalent to the N word. I personally do not believe that. The N word is from the Spanish. The word was meant to identify the color Black. When slaves arrived here in America, the Europeans were not able to properly pronounce the word for the Spanish Black. Therefore, over time, it changed and transitioned to the N word that we know today, that is meant to be a racial slur. It is meant to insult, but that's not how it originated. Now, the sign in ASL for Black, which is cultural, that was designed by Black individuals. So it was not meant to insult. It was not meant to be racial slur. In fact, it's the opposite. It was meant to empower and something to be proud of. It was meant to be cultural and something that is truly ours as a Black community. Why is this? Well, if you think about colors, the color WHITE, white. You have white shoes, a white house, white books. These are all things. But when you talk about a person, you have a white person. White. It's separate. You're not included in all of those things. Now, when we're talking about Black, you have Black shoes, Black house, a Black book, and a Black person. We're just included, lumped together with those things. Does that mean Black people are just things? It's the same sign. There's nothing unique about it. And also, when you think about the sign for a white person, it's similar to the sign beautiful. White person, beautiful. When you think about the sign, the general sign for Black is very similar to summer and ugly and Black. There's nothing unique about that sign. It doesn't separate us from things. And it's not a very attractive sign either. So the Black community decided we needed to come up with something that was independently ours, something that was powerful and unique, something that only we could use because we were going to develop that. That's where the sign Black came from. And that's something that is meant to empower, is meant to be strong, and is meant to be proud. That's why only Black individuals are allowed to use that sign, because it was designed with a purpose. Whereas the general sign Black, we're like, we'll just leave it alone. We'll let you have that. But for our Black, that's ours. So it will be not respectful if a non-Black person signs Black. You're not respecting the culture. You're not respecting the language. You're not respecting what we had to fight for. So that's why if you're not culturally Black, just be Black. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember if I seen that whole video, but I do remember because I don't remember seeing it on YouTube, but I do remember seeing it on Instagram, and I remember seeing part of it. She was answering the question, and I don't know if it's this video or if she was just answering, but I remember the answer. And I remember when I first learned about because when I first learned ASL, they didn't teach me black. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't teach me the word for black person. They only taught me black the color. And again, like she just said, it was used for black people as well, right? Like, which I find interesting. And I don't know that that's like a problem or problematic because the teacher wasn't black. My first ASL teacher wasn't black, but I remember when I got my next teacher, when I went up to ASL like 102 or whatever it's called, she was black, or she is black. And that's when I was first taught about, the cultural word for black, person or whatever. So this is the type of stuff that like a lot of this stuff that I've learned just scrolling. If you're going to be scrolling anyway, you come across these videos, you watch it, you learn a little bit. Just like God, I just forgot his name. Florian. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but the Romani advocate that I was telling you, I just was scrolling, and after I followed him, I've learned so much just in scrolling and watching his videos. Watching his videos. Yeah, I've learned so much. So, all right, let's see. Now we got Nicole. Oh, that's signing with Nicole. Yeah, signing with Nicole. All right. What do we got next? Kimmy. Oh shoot. That's why I had Instagram. I wanted to show you guys Florian. I believe that's how you say his name. Oh, you know what? It's still open. I forgot I made a specific window. Kimmy, you got let me see. I can share mine. I'm not sure. Or we can save the rest. I do want to show Florian's channel because I highly recommend this for everybody. If you're not following any Romani people, highly recommend. If you are not aware, GYPSY is a slur. We're not going to say it on this channel. Not even when we're saying old girl's name. You can call her G Rose. I will not be saying that slur. And here's why. Oh, I think okay. Kimmy's got. Who is this? Ray, do you want to read this one? There's some notes on the outline. If you can read these next two from Kimmy, or I think this is the last one, and then I will. Oh wow, maybe it's not the last one. There's a lot there. Oh yeah, it's on the outline. If you can read that, and I will get Florian's up, and then we can get out of here.
Okay, so it looks like 58 Creativity, inspirational graphic artist infused with ASL and deaf culture. The owner or artist is Brittany Castle, who has a deaf twin sister and hearing parents. She worked as a freelance graphic designer after graduating from the university, but her passion was for creating her own art infused with deaf culture. After a successful experience at the Seattle Deaf Art Exhibition with her series of artwork, Ladies in Sign Language, Love, Inspire, and Imagine, she opened an online shop and began selling art and in print, illustrations, posters, stickers, and short loop animation. Looks like 58 Creativity was founded to show ASL in clear 3D visual art that's easy to understand. It was named 58 Creativity because the number 58 in ASL stands for discover and interested. Combined with creativity, you get discover, interest, and creativity.
Dope. Okay. So we're gonna move on. Deacon Fatal says, "Can we get this one on video?" Yeah. I'm gonna grab that for you. I'm gonna share this last one here. That I think you guys should follow. Give me 1 second. I will zoom in a bit so you guys can see. Florian. I think Floridian. No, Florian. Okay, so his name is Florian. His pronouns are he, him. He's a creator. He focuses on history and culture. And I believe he's from Florida. And I think that's why I'm always like confused and mixed up on that. But I highly recommend the follow. You know what? Let me see if there's anyone in particular that I remember. I mean, to be honest, any of these honestly are really educational. Um, there's one. Let's see what this one is hidden for. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to play the audio. I don't know why I just did that because you guys aren't gonna be able to hear it. Oh, there's actually no audio. So that's, I mean, there's music, but it's not relevant to this. That's a good thing. Braids Kim could have worn instead of appropriating Black culture. This is what I call solidarity, bruh. Right here, Armenian braids. 'Cause Kim is Armenian. This is dope. This is dope. And this is not the first time I've seen Florian do something like this or include Black people, include other cultures, other ethnicities in his work and in his advocacy. This is what I call allyship right here. And yeah, I just realized I was gonna play another video for you guys, but I just realized that I'm not gonna be able to play the audio. So highly recommend just going to he's on TikTok, he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube. Look him up, Florian. Find him. There you go. For those who don't know, Romani people are ethnically South Asian, culturally Roma, which is not the same as the other. I always mess up. Anyways, Roma people, they have their own culture. They are their own culture. They are ethnically South Asian, so they hail from India, so hence the darker features and features similar to South Asians. And that's that on that. Anything else you want to add, Ray, before we get up out of here?
No, but I can say that I am actually glad that we did this because we definitely brought up quite a few people, and some people that I definitely am gonna have to add to my follow list. Because, like I said, I could use to have a little bit more on there. Most of the time, my YouTube is used for helping me download and get away from all the other crazy stuff. So I watch a lot of silly stuff, and I think one of the things we talked about before too is I watch a lot of people watching trash TV. So maybe I can find some a lot more creators that do some of that too, because that might help me out. But maybe I can find a few more creators of color that do that as well. But yeah, I definitely saw quite a few in here that we covered today that I will be giving a follow to, so I can check out and see a little bit more of what they have going on.
Nice. I'm looking for the video from Nicole so I can get it to Deacon Fatal. Deacon Fatal asked for that video and I'm looking for it. Here it is. Looking for a link. So this is a link to her channel. She's Nicole, blah blah blah. Nicole Lamont is her channel name. I'm gonna put her URL in the comments. Thank you, Deacon Fatal, for being here. We always deeply appreciate you. And Deacon Fatal said, yep, and it's been a slur. This is absolutely true. This is the last thing I want to say. You know, when it comes to being a good ally, you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. And being a good ally, it doesn't mean you never mess up. It doesn't mean you're perfect and that you know everything. It means you are willing to learn, that you are willing to be wrong, that you are willing to listen. If somebody tells you you messed up, we as humans have the natural reaction to want to get defensive, to want to explain our intention, that we were just trying to help, that we weren't intending to do that, we didn't mean to do that. None of that is relevant. None of it is relevant. If somebody tells you you have caused them harm or you have hurt their feelings, or you, and to be clear, hurt feelings and causing harm and oppression are different things. But either way, if somebody communicates that with you, stop, pause, ask questions if you're unclear, reflect first and foremost. Do not demand or expect labor of them, intellectual, emotional, or otherwise. Don't expect them to educate you. If anything, and you are unclear, you can let them know that you're unclear. And if they want to educate you, they can. But if anything, you can say, okay, you know what? My bad. Let me do a little bit of research. Let me go do some learning. I've got some work to do in this department. Apologize, of course, right? Don't apologize for how they felt. Apologize for what you did, how you contributed to the situation. I think a prime example is Cheska Lee. Earlier today, I saw a post where somebody reached out to her and made a comment about her body and said, hey, you might want to get that checked out because it could be this disease. You could have a thyroid issue. And she responded and said, no, I've checked this out. Please don't comment on my body. It just causes harm. You're not the first person to do it. I've been tested, blah, blah, blah. And they immediately got defensive and said, wow, somebody's just trying to help you and save your life. You didn't need to shit on me. And Cheska literally didn't shit on them. Like, she literally just responded so plainly, so clearly, so directly. And as somebody who, that is the story of my life, for you to, if you don't pacify people and hold their hand and say, oh, thank you so much for that, but no, I'm actually okay, but thank you so much. No, don't comment on people's bodies. Don't do that. Don't do that. And if you do, if you are concerned, you can say, hey, I noticed something. I have a concern. Is it okay if I talk to you about this? Or can I ask you a question about this? Or can I give you some advice? Right? Like, I do that even with friends. I did that with Ray the other day, right? Like, we're talking, can I give you some advice? Right? Like, and you would think with a friend that you could just automatically do it and they're probably, it's going to be okay. But maybe it's not a good time. Maybe they're not in the headspace for it. Maybe they don't want that particular piece of advice, or maybe they don't want advice on that particular topic, right? There are things that I don't want your advice on, right? But there are things that I absolutely will welcome it. So just ask for permission, ask for consent. Can I give you some advice? Can I talk to you about this? Is it okay if I mention this? Right? That's being a good ally, not getting defensive, not saying, well, I was just trying to help. Well, that wasn't my intention. Well, that's how you took it. Maybe that's all true. It doesn't negate the harm that was caused, right? And so we have to remember that when we're being allies is about centering the person who needs centering in the moment, not about us, right? And I don't care how oppressed you are. I don't care how many layers of marginalization, how much marginalization you've experienced. Even me, somebody who has more layers of oppression than I do privilege, even me, I have to check myself and say, okay, am I being a good ally here? Who needs to be centered in the moment? Who's the most vulnerable person in this moment? Okay, what can I do? How can I do better? So forth and so on. So I really just wanted to emphasize that before we get out of here. The link for Nicole, signing with Nicole Lamont's channel is in the comment section. If you're here right now, when we end this live, you will be able to, I guess maybe you can refresh the page and drop a comment, not in the chat, but in the comments, and just leave the comment, ally. No, that sounds kind of corny. Accomplice. Leave the word accomplice in the comments for us. Kickstart this video for the algorithm. I was about to make a little, let's see, a little, wait, give me 2 seconds, y'all. This is for my spelling challenge folks. Boom, there you go. Accomplice. Drop that in the comment section, not the chat, but the comment section of this video. Help it get started in the algorithm. We greatly appreciate you. Before we sign off, Ray, anything else? You're muted.
Nope, I think that we covered quite a bit of ground tonight. And again, was happy to be here amongst our community, one that we're hoping to build and hoping to help grow their communities as well, which is an extension of our community. So yeah.
Nice. You know something that I notice, this is my sign off. You know something I noticed, that usually when people will say, do you have anything to add? Or did you want to say anything on behalf of your client? I watch a lot of judge shows. Or anything else before we get out of here? We always say no and then say something.
You're right.
Every time, right? Did you have anything you want to say on your client? No, just that. And then you say something, right? And I do it too. I do it every time. Did you want to say? No. Actually, I just wanted to say I'm again. Like, why do we do that? I don't know why we say no. It was like the answer is yes, because I think if you say no, I don't have anything to say, and then that would just be that. But instead, we say something. Anyways, that's just funny.
It's for the same reason that we walk in to order something and go, "Can I get a?" I think it's for the same reason. It's just a natural.
Oh, I don't do that. Wait, who does that? What do you mean?
You don't?
I mean, like, no. I have too much anxiety for that. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I'm going to say. I've rehearsed it in my head. Absolutely not. If I go to the front counter, I will say, hi, can I, like if my order for In-N-Out, hey, can I get a cheeseburger, grilled onions, extra toasted, and I need a light fry, extra light. No, I need that to go. No drink. Like, no, I know exactly what I'm saying. There is no, oh, hell no. I have way too much anxiety. I am so worried about holding up the line or keeping people waiting or no, God, no.
So the funny thing is, I know I've done this and I know quite a few people do too, because I'm the same way as you, in the fact that I know what I want, but for some reason it's just second nature to go, can I get, and then say what I want when I already know exactly what I want.
Matter of fact, like I said before, like 7-Eleven is like my favorite store, right? I have the 7-Eleven app. I don't know if y'all can see it down here. I have the 7-Eleven app on my phone and I have it in my like shortcuts. I don't use it every day, but I'm so paranoid about like holding the line up that if I need to scan my thing, I need it to be the most accessible. I need right there. I don't want to have to look for nothing. I don't want to hold up time. I got too much anxiety for that. I can't do it. I can't do it. Um, Somebody said, I don't know who said that intent doesn't excuse impact. Yeah. And then Kimmy said, oh, wait, no, wait. I missed one. I never noticed that and will never be able to not notice it now. Yeah, I notice stuff like that. I notice it. I notice everything like that. I say, can I get but that feels more polite than just barking out an order. Oh yeah, I will say, can I get but like I don't, there's no or like a pause. There is just like, can I get a cheeseburger, grilled onions, extra toasted with a light fry, extra light. I need it to be extra light, like almost soft light. Thank you. Nothing to drink, and I want that to go. Like I will spit that out, and I will say it slowly enough and clearly enough because I don't want to have to repeat it. But there's no pause. Now you know what I will do that a lot of people say is when you go to get gas and you pull up to a particular pump, you look at the pump number, right? And so you know what pump number you're at. Then you get out of the car, and as you're walking into the store to pay or wherever, you look back and you check the pump number again. And then you get in the store and you get ready to pay and you go, hey, can I get 20 on 20 on one? Now that I do every time. And I don't know why, but I saw a meme pointing it out and I cackled. I died laughing because that is me every time. I look at, first of all, I have OCD and it is related to numbers. So I don't pull up to just any pump. So I already know which pump numbers I'm going to pull up to. It's going to be an even number, but not 6 and maybe 1. Okay. Those are my only, maybe 1 and 7, right? Those are my only options. So I already know probably what the number is. And then I look at it, I get there on my way into the store. I look back. Yep. Still 1. Like my car moved or something in those few seconds. Right. And then I get there and I get ready to pay. Hey, can I get 20, blah, blah, blah. And I'm very specific, right? Like, I calculate based on the number of gas. I don't usually fill it. Can I get $22.95 on 1? Why? I know what pump number it is, but I have to check like 3 or 4 times before
I do that too.
That I will do. Too. That's the only thing I will do. But no, there's no nope. I'd be too nervous.
Gosh.
I'd be too nervous.
Look at us causing problems for people. Now folks are going to be observing the fact that they do it too and have a complex.
I know. Kimmy says, wait, you can't pay at the pump? I can pay at the pump. I don't pay at the pump because you should not pay at the pump. It's not really safe. There are a lot of times there are those things on top of the pump, like the readers that read your whatever. My mom has gotten caught up with that, had her debit card number stolen. A lot of people get their things stolen that way. And in store, it's a lot easier to notice if the thing is like if there's something has been added to the machine, the card reader machine, it's a lot easier to notice on the inside than it is to tell on the outside if it's there. And so I will pay on the outside or at the pump if I have to, but I don't know about you, but in California, we have a different price for cash versus card. So more than likely, I'm going to try to pay with cash, first of all. So that's one reason I need to go inside. And then second, even if I am paying with my card, I don't want to use my card at the pump. I want to use it inside because it's actually safer that way.
They're the skimmers are what you're talking about.
Skimmers,
yeah, exactly
yes.
what you mean.
Thank you, skimmers, yes. And it's a lot easier to notice the skimmers inside than it is outside. Yep. So I don't want to touch the outside pumps if I don't have to. I wear gloves at the pump. Sometimes I forget them, and no, I don't want to do it. I do my tap. I do my touch. I don't like touching other things. I can't. I shouldn't. Nope. I don't pay at the pumps. That's why. What is this? I do tap to pay stuff, and I don't think skimmers have caught on to those. Yeah. So tap to pay is definitely a lot safer. But even still, you have to hit the buttons on the outside of the pump, and I don't want to do that. And when I do it inside, at least if I do tap, I only have to hit the button one more time. I only have to hit one button as opposed to at the pump, you got to put in your zip code and then hit enter. And then ask, do you want a receipt? And then it's just a lot more touching. No, thank you.
So before we get out of here, I'll say this too with that. So I don't like going inside because I have massive anxiety about having to talk to people in person in real life, strangers, walking into the place. So I don't like going in. And unfortunately, the best place for me to get gas, where it's the cheapest for me, is right on post. And that is the only place. That is the only place that for some reason will not let me pay at the pump. So I have to go in every time, and it's
Oh.
worse because I'm in uniform. So I have the anxiety of maybe I need to walk in, and if I walk across an officer, then I need to salute, and I need to do all of this when all I want to do is get gas.
Yes, yeah. Okay, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Well, yeah, you do have the option of paying on base though. Don't you guys get a discount, or like it's cheaper for y'all, right? On
Yeah.
base?
Mhm.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, I try not to get gas that often anyways, but all right, we're out of here, y'all. I don't know what's happening next week, but hop in the Discord and you'll find out. And that's that on that. Appreciate y'all for joining us. We will see y'all soon. Waheguru ji ka khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh. Peace, y'all. See, that's why I asked you if you wanted to do that before I was signing out, because I did not speaking over you saying that.